Good morning. It is Patrick and the people, and you have made it already past the first day of the week, so that's a good sign, right?
Yeah, we're here at Tuesday, feeling good.
Yeah, you get past Monday. That's top.
Yes, sir.
Got Bundy sitting in here with me, baby. You know Bundy Electric.
Yeah, how's it going, everybody? Good morning.
And here in just a few minutes, we'll have a couple more guests in the studio joining us, so very excited about that. Darrin Riggan and his buddy from Death Metal Disco.
Nice.
Yeah, so very excited about that. Man, I got some, I wouldn't say bad news, but some news that I didn't love
Yeah, what you got?
this morning. Well, and I hadn't been able to tell people this because that's part of the process, but I had auditioned for Survivor.
Oh, yeah.
And I made it 3 rounds. I made it, to the semifinals, and I just got notified today I wasn't chosen this time.
Damn it.
Yeah, I was so close. I was one interview away from, from being on
So
there.
the next round you would have been going.
Yeah.
Nice.
The next round I would have been. So,
Wow.
yeah, I went through 3 different interview processes on it. So maybe next time I'll apply again.
Well, I was going to say, if you apply next time, are you kind of more considered since you've applied
Maybe.
and been through the process?
Maybe
Yeah.
so.
Cool.
Maybe so. I do think that's possible.
Right.
I also recently put in my application on Big Brother.
Oh,
So
nice.
If I could get that, man, that'd
Dude,
be the
that'll be
number
sick.
one thing ever
That'll be sick.
in my life right there. That
That'll
would be
be
the
sick.
dopest thing ever to be on Big Brother. That's definitely my favorite show of all
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
No, I love that damn thing. But I was really getting geared up for Survivor. I was
We
like,
were rooting
man,
for you, dude.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it, man. I've been thinking about making fire, been talking,
Right.
talking about what I would eat out there, doing some research
Right.
on it, on Fiji and what the natural, vegetation is out there.
What
So
you
I
can
could-
find. What you
yeah,
can,
so I could, get myself a little food here and
Right.
there along the route
Right.
and not eat something that would kill me.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah, exactly. Not a poison berry.
No, I was like, man, I'll go out here and finish all the weight that I need to lose on
Yeah,
Survivor.
right.
you
Yeah,
know?
who needs Ozempic? Just-
I just go out there and do that, man. That would have been great, but not this time. But it was so fun in the process because the last interview I did, I was talking to the producers and they were asking all these strategy questions. What
right.
would you do in this circumstance? What would you do here? What do you think about this?
Right.
How do you approach this? What about this? And I'm in there. I'm talking about fake idols. I'm talking about all kinds of stuff in there, man, because I love it when they, if you ever watch Survivor and they make the fake idols.
Yeah, dude.
That's my
Brilliant.
favorite, man. It
Brilliant.
is brilliant,
Yep.
man. And I was like, yeah, I'm definitely going to make a fake idol. No doubt about it, man.
See, I've always told my wife that I would be very strategic in the clothes I wore
Yeah.
there, because I don't feel like, which I don't know, I'm sure there's some rules and regulations on what you can and can't wear, but to try to strategize, to be able to make fake idols or
Oh,
to
yeah.
do something just with your
where
clothing.
maybe it has little things on it
Right,
or something like
something.
that
Yeah.
that might be able to be used in that way.
Yeah.
That's a pretty good idea. Actually, you might even be able to, sew some of that into your
Yeah,
clothing.
yeah,
A
exactly,
couple beads here and
exactly.
there, nobody
Right.
pick up on, and
Right.
then you just pull them out and
I'd be trying to smuggle a Zippo too. I'd be trying to get a
that'll
lighter
start
out there.
the fire.
Yeah, exactly.
No, man, I had been working on that because that's on Survivor. If it comes down to it, you might have to start
that's
fire
what
to
you gotta
win.
do, right.
And man, you always see these people come in and they're like, well, I'm not real good at it. I'm like, why? You had all this time.
Right,
You knew you
right,
were going to be
right.
on the show. Why aren't you working on
Yeah.
making fire?
Yeah, it should be the number one thing.
Yeah, no, I promise you, if I were selected by the time I win, I'd be a fire
my
starting
God.
full, buddy.
Oh yes.
Yeah,
yes.
I'd
able to
beat
do it
anybody.
immediately.
I'd be trying to get anybody to compete with me
Right,
on it here
right.
before I win.
Right.
But let's get to some news, see what's going on
Yeah,
here
what you
in
got
the
this
world, and talk a little bit about some of that. Let's see here. This is interesting. It says a potentially historic winter storm could soon stretch as far south as Florida and the Gulf of America.
As of today.
Yeah, cold weather is affecting millions. Governors of, get this, Louisiana, Georgia, Alabama, Florida, and Mississippi have all declared states of emergency.
Wow.
So we're the only one
We're getting
not
missed.
in that list. And the storm is expected to bring snow, ice, freezing rain through Wednesday, make travel really bad. Officials are urging people to stay off the roads, of course, keep water running. In Texas, Houston's major airports are going to be closed today.
Wow.
The National Weather Service said it should be the biggest winter storm for the region in 100 years. Major airlines are delaying and canceling flights due to the storm. Trump signing an executive order aimed at tackling the TikTok ban, but there could be a hiccup. Right after getting back in the Oval Office, he signed an extension that says would allow him to sell it or close it. It has a 75-day extension deadline. He said the app will be worthless if he doesn't approve a potential deal to sell, but it may be worth $1 trillion if he does. He went on to add he feels like the U.S. should get 50% of TikTok. Now, you might wonder why that is. Well, that's how it works. If we go over to China and open a company there, China automatically gets a percentage of whatever you make. That's just the way it works there. Currently, 60% of TikTok right now is owned by companies BlackRock, Susquehanna, International Group, and others. So 3 of the 5 board members of ByteDance are American. The founders of TikTok own 20% of the company. Employees own the last 20. It says China doesn't own the app or company, but if it's out of China, they own it. Trust me. Yeah. They own it. Let's see what else is going on here. A Florida woman is in trouble after she tried to fake out the cops. Her name's Theron. She was a passenger in a vehicle, got pulled over for a traffic stop. She was known to the police already from previous problems, and they asked the driver if they could search the car. They were given the green light, and a bag with the label, "Definitely not a bag full of drugs," was searched, and surprise, it was a bag full of drugs. And she was booked and charged. Yeah, it's a real smart idea on her part, right? I mean, you just never can. I mean, how can you be that dumb? Yeah. Really? Major deportation raids, allegedly scheduled in Chicago, have been put on hold. Tom Homan, the border czar, said that they're reevaluating plans on how they want to do it. I guess maybe there was some leaked information or whatever, and they just want to make sure they're doing it where everybody doesn't know what's going on, I guess. I don't know. Buffalo, New York, the hottest real estate market in the U.S. If you can handle a pile of snow and freezing temps, maybe the place for you. The city tops Zillow's list of hottest markets of 2025. It considers forecasted price increases, how quickly homes sell, rising rent, and other stats. You can buy a house in Buffalo for an average, it says, of $223,000. I don't know if I buy that in Buffalo.
I was gonna say, man, that
sounds awfully low. I mean, the national average is over 400. Wow. So that seemed a little low for Buffalo. Now I don't know. I'm not there. They also list Indianapolis, Providence, Rhode Island, Hartford, Connecticut, and Philadelphia. James Cameron has given an update on the latest Avatar movie. Do you care? That's really the question. I'm not sure anybody cared about the last one. Yeah. But he did say that he spilled that Avatar Fire and Ash is ahead of the curve. Post-production started in 2023. He said, we've doubled the number of shots finished at this stage of the game than we had on movie 2, and the films are about equal length. So the film drops in December, if you need to know. Melania Trump's hat was the center of attention yesterday.
I didn't see that.
Yeah, a lot of people said Google was showing that Melania Trump hat was the breakout search. It kind of looked like a gangster hat in a way, I guess, if you will. Some people said the Hamburglar, but I thought she looked really nice, actually. She looked super high model profile. Right. That's what it looked like.
I saw it compared to the Pizza Hut emblem.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah. That's funny. Yeah. A U.S. Border Patrol agent shot and killed on a highway in Vermont. In addition to the agent, the FBI confirmed the suspect was killed. A second suspect injured, taken into custody. The incident happened on I-91 in Coventry, right by the Canadian border. With J.D. Vance now the VP, his temporarily empty seat in the Senate means there are 99 senators available for votes. Yesterday, all 99 voted to confirm Marco Rubio as Secretary of State. Several Democrats believe his experience made him qualified for the position. First member of the cabinet to be confirmed. President Donald Trump's choice for Secretary of Defense moved a step closer to confirmation yesterday. The Senate Armed Service Committee advanced Pete Hegseth's nomination to a full vote in the Senate. All 14 Republicans on the committee voted for Hegseth. 13 Democrats, of course, voted against him. Thursday, the earliest his confirmation will likely be voted on. So far, and no one has said they'll vote no on the Republican side, and they just need a simple majority there. The National Weather Service declared another particularly dangerous situation for LA last night due to high winds forecasted. The fire department pre-deployed resources to support full and proactive response. Hopefully, they'll keep it under control. Man, this was not surprising, but still surprising, right? As former President Joe Biden was leaving the office, he was about to grab his keys and he remembered something, right? Oh yeah, I better pardon my family.
Yeah.
All of them.
Dr. Fauci.
And Dr. Fauci and some other folks, yeah. Just before he left, he announced a set of preemptive pardons for all of his family, including his two brothers and sister.
Preemptive.
Yeah,
just in case we screw up.
just in case you find out that maybe that money that was being moved around account to account, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So he pardoned James Biden, Sarah Biden, Valerie Biden Owens, John Owens, and Francis Biden. That covers the period from January 1st of 2014 until Sunday. James of 2014 until Sunday. So like 10 years. In his statement, he said the issuance of these pardons shouldn't be mistaken as an acknowledgement they're engaged in any wrongdoing. No.
Yeah,
No, not at all. Not at all. Come on in, Darrin. What's going on, buddy? How are you, man? Come on in. Have a seat, man. Join us. We're just doing a little news right now.
What's going on?
How you doing today, man?
Hey, good. It's a little chilly out there.
Man, it is a lot chilly out there. Yeah, no, it's very chilly. We were just talking about how all these other states, Mississippi, Louisiana, Georgia, they're all declaring emergencies.
Dude, it's pretty crazy.
I'm like, how are we escaping this? Somehow, some way, we're escaping the worst of it right now.
I'd take some more snow. Everybody I know is going to stop.
Yeah.
I'll take some more.
You take some more?
I would.
Okay. Yeah, you like the time off?
Man, I do.
Yeah, I
Pretty
understand.
much anyway. I come hang out with you.
If the weather's cold, at least give us snow.
Yeah, I hear you. I hear you. Of course, the inauguration was just the start of the day. He delivered a 30-minute address, and then he signed a flurry of executive orders. I think 42 executive orders, 115 personnel actions, and then 200 executive actions signed late into the night. Included a withdrawal from the Paris Agreement and the World Health Organization, a pardon for the J6 people, 1,500 of them, basically. I think that's most of them.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know whether I agree or don't agree with some of those, but I do know that a lot of those folks were incarcerated, some of them almost 4 years without a trial, and that to me seems crazy. When you can detain someone indefinitely without a trial.
Right.
And Biden did some pardoning himself.
We were just talking about on the way out. He right before he grabbed his keys and took off, he signed a few of them there.
Look at these numbers right here on as far as presidents and pardons. Biden has 8,000 pardons. His closest
8,000
pardons.
I'm probably on that list.
His closest second place, 1945, Franklin D. Roosevelt with 3,600 pardons.
Franklin D. Roosevelt's the closest all the way back then.
Yeah, at 3,600.
He
I
pardoned
just pulled up
8,000
the last
people.
20 presidents. So
That's 8,000, man.
8,064 people.
That's busy pardoning right there.
8,064, and the 64 just got pardoned yesterday.
Yeah, well, whoever you knew that was in jail should be out at this point. Right. Damn, I mean, wow. Cumberland Community School in East London transformed its academic performance in large part due to a program banning social media and phone use during exam periods. It was tested in 2023. The program required students to delete social media apps and in phones during class. What did that lead to? Well, significant improvements in exam results.
Imagine that.
Yeah, the program, which they repeated this school year, helped turn the school into one of the UK's top performing schools, and they plan to continue this initiative in the future. I don't blame them. It's probably a good idea.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. Wayne Rhodes from Hamilton, Ohio, faced a dire situation when his liver failed. He couldn't qualify for a transplant because he didn't have a recovery care team. Pastor Aaron Simpson and members of Freedom House Church stepped in, provided support, enabled him to receive a liver transplant. It was successful. He and his wife are facing some financial struggles, but the church is trying to help them through the time, so good for them.
Yep.
This is crazy. In November, video started circulating online showing altercations between Tim Lambesis, the As I Lay Dying singer, and his wife, Danny. Now more videos have surfaced. Danny speaking out. Lambesis has accused Danny of abusing him. She put out a statement saying abuse allegation rumors were false. Now Danny is saying Tim's managers wrote the original statement. In her new statement, she confirms she didn't release the videos, including the new one. She says, I'll no longer stay silent out of fear of Tim. Then says there was never a domestic violence investigation against me, nor a restraining order. Said the abusive, cheating narcissist will try to destroy your life and your name with lies before you can shine a light on the truth. So who knows what's going on, but it ain't good for Tim right now, I'll tell you that.
Nope. We'll end up hearing more about that.
Yeah, and I suspect you're right. Even though it only lasted half a day, some people took that TikTok ban pretty personally.
Yeah.
In Wisconsin, office space leased by Congressman Glenn Grothman was set on fire. About 1 a.m. on Sunday, morning crews responded. Shortly thereafter, an unnamed man was arrested. Police said the man set the fires because of the TikTok ban. He's 18. Yeah. Yeah, no, yeah. Those 30-second clips, you just can't have them. You got to light something on fire, right? No, that makes perfect sense. You're not triggered, are you? An hour before kickoff of the national championship game, the cheapest ticket in the door would have got you in for just under $4,000 before fees. However, once inside the Mercedes-Benz Stadium, prices were more fan-friendly. Regular domestic beer was only $5. The largest premium beer was $10. Hot dogs were $2. A bacon cheeseburger was $7. A whole pizza was $18, and a slice was $3. So, hey, those are better than any prices I've seen around.
That's pretty good. Besides,
You can't
the beer.
beat that at a movie.
No, you sure can't. You damn sure can't. So, man, yeah, last night, if you did not watch the game, it was a great game. Man, it started out real strong.
Came out hot
for Notre Dame, and I was very concerned for Ohio State because Notre Dame came out and proceeded to march down the field and score a touchdown immediately. They took almost 10 minutes off the clock doing it, so they had control of the clock. They had control of the field. They had the first score, and Ohio State not used to playing from behind.
Yeah, and they looked like they were ready to keep going too. That rally.
Well, they did. They looked really good, and Ohio State looked a little discombobulated.
Mm-hmm.
And then I guess they remembered they were Ohio State.
Yeah, they figured it out.
Yeah, they came back with a vengeance. They scored 31 unanswered points, thanks to 2 Will Howard touchdown passes and 2 end zone scampers from Judkins. Notre Dame did make a game out of it with a couple touchdowns from Riley Leonard to Jayden Greathouse. Both of which were followed by 2 successful 2-point conversions. The score was 31-23. The Buckeyes managed to get a field goal with 26 seconds left and gave them a 34-23 win, which thrilled anyone who took Ohio State to beat the spread. So that's good that they beat the spread. But, man, if you want to question strength of schedule, you sure can't. You sure can't now. I mean, what a gauntlet they ran.
For sure.
I mean, they ran
went
through
through the ringer.
Tennessee, number 1 undefeated Oregon, Texas. Then who did they? Was this the next game after Texas?
I believe so. Texas was their last
Yeah,
game.
so Texas, and then now Notre Dame. I mean, that is a gauntlet to run.
Come on, you got to give it to them.
And first time for the 12-team format, and I think they actually won the championship on the first 4-team format of the playoffs. If I'm not mistaken.
It was 2014 was their last championship.
Yeah, I think so. That sounds right. Yeah. But great game. Everything that you want out of that kind of game for sure.
For sure.
The NFL Conference Championships coming up this weekend. The power rankings are set like this. Kansas City Chiefs, they're at their best when the game matters most, particularly the trio of Mahomes, Kelsey, and Jones, and the defense has been coming up huge. Bills, Josh Allen not turning the ball over, and James Cook averaging over 136 yards a game, the main reason they're here now. They need to run defense and pass rush to step up and join the party if they're going to try to stop the Chiefs. The Eagles begins and ends with Saquon Barkley and their pass defense. Jalen Hurts is going to have to figure out the passing game in a hurry, though, and the rush defense needs to shore itself up and stop giving up big plays. And the Commanders, man, they are a threat. If they get to the Super Bowl, I'm
They
very
did
concerned about them.
They did the damn thing against Detroit,
Man,
dude. They got it done.
I don't know if that was a one-off and Detroit just got smacked in the mouth and shocked by them, or if they're really that good because they're a young team with a rookie quarterback, and man, they look real good.
I think that's the thing. They're just hot, and they got hot against Detroit. And it's hard, like you said, a rookie team. They're kind of inconsistent, but if they can line their shit up for the Eagles and get to the big game, I think they got a chance.
I don't think the Eagles can win it. To be honest with you,
Right.
I think the Commanders could.
Right.
I just don't know if the Bills can get past the Chiefs. I mean,
don't
they
either, man.
can get
I don't
past
either.
them, but man, they just have a history of choking. I like Josh Allen, I really do, but man, right now it looks like it's Kansas City's world. You know, they'd be the first three-peat ever.
Yeah, ever.
Really?
Yeah, there's never been a football team do a three-peat.
I don't want to
So
see
you know that's what they want. I mean,
I don't want
that's
to
what
see
they
it.
want.
I don't want to see it.
You don't
want
wanna
to
see
see
it.
the three-peat.
No, you don't. You don't want the dynasty.
No. And usually I root for Allen with the Bills, but I found myself the other day, man, I just wanted Lamar Jackson.
Man, I wanted
thought
Lamar
I
Jackson
thought
to
he
get it,
deserved
man.
He plays so hard.
God, man, he's such a
good
great player, and,
For sure.
and he's so worthy of getting
Yeah,
to the
he
game,
deserves
man.
it. He deserves it.
I really was rooting for him too, to be honest with you.
But
Yeah,
he's young. I think he'll play for a long time. We'll be seeing
he's
Lamar for a while.
He's a great quarterback. I'll tell you what, the kid for Notre Dame, man, that kid can run.
Oh, yeah.
He
Yeah,
can run,
for
man.
sure.
I don't know if he'll play on Sundays,
For
but
sure.
if he
Did you see
continues, he
him?
will.
He was a little gassed after that first drive down
Man,
the
wouldn't
field.
you be?
Yeah, for sure.
But yes, he was. I was shocked they didn't put him on oxygen or something.
Yep. He
Because
was.
he was gasping on that
for
one.
sure.
Yeah, man. But he ran. I mean, so many. I mean, I don't know how many times. I think he ran it 8 times in the first drive.
Yeah, he got the ball down there, dude, and you could tell he worked for it.
Yeah,
he
no,
was wore out.
he was worn out, and that may have played out later.
Right, caught
on
up
him
to
as
him.
well. Yeah. All right, let's do something a little different here. All right, let's see. Now, what's going on with Death Metal Disco, by the way, my brother?
man, since we were here last and didn't have anything, now we've managed to get a couple of songs on Spotify, Amazon.
Oh, really?
Nice.
All the digital platforms. We are working on a video for everything, so we'll have some updates on that soon. And our next show, I'm not exactly sure.
What kind of video are you going to do? Just a straightforward performance video? Are you going to do a conceptual video? What are you doing?
We're going to try to film a lot of it at my studio at home, and I actually talked to Amanda a little bit. I want to set up in the break room and
break stuff. I think that'd be dope
That'd be
in your
cool.
video.
Yeah.
What a great idea,
everybody
man.
I can think of, just whoever we can.
Yeah, I'll come down. I'll support you. You know that. Yeah, I'll come smashed up.
I think we're going to try to make the break room look like my studio does at home. And
Oh, that's cool.
and
What
then-
a great idea, man. What a great concept.
That's what I thought about the break room. I was like,
Yeah.
we
I mean,
can-
that's
this
fun.
is a multifaceted concept.
Yeah, and you can set cameras up in different places to catch
some
the
good
stuff. I
shots,
mean, that'd
for
be
sure.
really cool, man.
That is
What
the
a great
plan.
idea.
That
I
is the
love that.
plan.
Yeah. Well, yeah, definitely let me know, how we can get involved. But
For
so
sure.
they can go over to Spotify and just pull up Death Metal Disco and catch a couple
I
tracks.
think it's Death Metal Disco Band
Okay.
to get to it. It's it's so hard to search stuff these days.
Mhm.
But, yeah, it ought to pop right up.
That's awesome,
Good
man.
stuff.
That is great news, man. Well, congratulations on that. I know you guys are excited.
And man, I'm going to try to bring everybody down Saturday. Everybody's excited to see you get
Hell yeah.
beat.
See what? No, I don't think so. I don't think so, player. Let me tell you something, man. I've been working on this.
We're all worried about you.
No, I've been training. I've been working on it. I posted yesterday. I got my wrestling pants in.
Oh yeah, you're
I saw
right.
that.
Yep. And man,
How do you work on getting your head cracked?
well, you just you got to work on how you fall. It's
I guess that is
important.
it. I
Yeah,
guess
how
that
you
is it.
fall, how you land. Is really important when you're in that kind of business doing that. And
My
so
friends used to say that the jaw there's no cardio in the jaw.
no.
You can't just have somebody sit there and punch you all day.
No.
And get
No, there's no cardio for that, but it should be really, really interesting. I'm ready to close the buffet, and you're gonna have to go eat somewhere else because Jimmy Buffet is gonna be closed, baby. You understand? I'm about to stomp a mud hole in his back. All
We're
right.
excited about it, man. It's
Yeah.
gonna be fun.
It's gonna be a damn fun time. Now, if you don't know, what he's talking about is Ark and Brawl, and it is the inaugural event. It's 4 different independent wrestling leagues that have come together, and we're doing a big, huge event. right here at the Legion Scaffold Broadcast Studio Center. And we're going to have a ring set up. We're going to have big scaffolding set up. We're doing a big scaffolding match. You're going to have yeah, it's going to be super dope. Plus, you got a Royal Rumble. But you've got altogether 9 matches that are happening. And several are title matches, including the main event where I'm fighting for the heavyweight title.
I love it.
I'm not playing around, people.
Let's go.
I'm bringing the brisket. You understand?
Yeah,
I'm coming.
The brisket,
Yeah, I'm
baby.
coming with it.
So some people have got you counted out, but I'm a little concerned.
No, I wouldn't count me out at all. I promise.
I just
you
don't
that.
want anybody. I don't want you to get hurt.
No, he's a big guy. He is a big guy, but there's something to being agile and knowing how to make those moves and
Right.
counter.
Right.
True that.
I've been working on that.
You sound
so.
convinced.
Yeah.
I feel very,
yeah.
very comfortable. Very comfortable.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. No, if
You've been practicing at home. Laura throwing you around a little
That's right. That's right. I let Laura throw me around. Hey, if I could take her, I can take anyone. Trust me. You'd rather fight me than her any
there's
day.
no doubt. Yeah, I
Trust
don't
me,
want
Buffet would never want her in the ring.
I
She'll
don't
whoop
want
your
any of
ass.
that. Yeah, that's for sure.
No, she don't play around, bro. She quit school because they had recess. You know what I mean?
That's it.
She does not play.
So after next week, it might just be and the people, huh? Yeah,
Great.
Patrick's going to be representing the heavyweight title. He's
Yeah,
going
all
to
wrapped
have new
up,
priorities on his
brace
hands.
on.
You know, what can I say, man? If I am the man, I am the man. You know?
Yeah.
To be the man, you got to beat the man, right?
That's right, baby.
That's
Ric
how it
Flair.
goes. That's right. Woo!
Yeah.
All right.
That's that thing. That's free, right? That's
It is
every
absolutely
event.
free. Yeah.
all ages.
Yeah, all ages. Anybody can come. We'll have seating. We've got some. I think we're going to cook hot dogs, free hot dogs for everybody. I'm sure we'll have some
That
water.
right there will bring everybody. I mean,
Yeah. It
so-
is inside too, but the weather
is.
that day is going to be up to 52, so it's not going to be too cold.
Yeah, no,
it's gonna be a good
it's
day.
going to be warmed up, and people are going to be listening. After all this cold weather, people are going to be looking for something to do on the weekend to get
Come
out.
hang out, dude.
And the cool thing, it's noon. It's at noon, so you can come have a great time, get you some lunch, have some fun,
Right.
and when you're done, still have the rest of your damn day left.
Yeah.
it's gonna be a blast.
Yeah, and I suspect this event. I mean, you're talking about 9 matches. This is a 2-3 hour event, I'm sure.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it's like going to a WWE
Right,
event.
right.
I mean,
I'm excited,
these guys are committed too. I mean, if
There's gonna be some serious smack
they,
talk going on.
man, there is. There's going to be a lot of stuff going on. You know, we're going to have the we've got a camera set up that we're putting up out there. We've got commentator booths that are going to commentate on it
So
throughout
it's gonna
the ring.
broadcast on.
Yeah, it's going to
That's gonna be
broadcast.
cool.
Well,
Oh, yeah.
it's going to broadcast. I think that I have to talk to them and find out when Rich gets here how it's going to broadcast. I think it's going to be on Odyssey. I'm not sure.
Okay.
So we'll find out more about that. But the best thing to do is show up and see it in person.
Yeah, hell yeah.
I'm here.
It's going to be a lot of fun. You know, these guys, man. I mean, they have the costumes, they have the attitudes, they have the scripts. I mean, they got it
Ready to
going,
go.
man.
Yeah. Hell
It's
yeah.
going to be super entertaining, man. I think everybody will have a great time.
Darrin, Jeremy Kremer,
Yeah.
I think is his last
That's my
name.
guitar player. I meant to bring him with me. He had something going on this morning.
Oh, okay.
I got you. He asked, it's death metal, or no, he didn't ask. He's clarifying. It's death metal disco on all the sites.
Oh, okay.
Instagram,
Okay. So
Facebook.
he's giving you the
Yeah.
correct way to look
Thanks
that
for
up.
that, Jeremy. They know that I am.
Good morning to Latasha. What's up, Harry Crane? Harry, man, we were in the Guard together for many years. Good dude right there. Real
Nice.
good dude. Yeah. What's up, Brent? He said free Joel. Yeah. Crystal Ann said good morning. And Mike Woodall, the most badass, genuine man I know on your right.
Mike rules the earth, bro.
Yeah, man. Good people, man. I remember when Mike had a little doggy and,
Yeah.
you know, we were putting shows together over at the Village and things like that, man.
Always had a good time with him.
Man, it was so fun being part of the local music scene in that time frame because it was so big, so robust. People actually went out all the time to support and see the bands, and man, it was just a lot of fun.
Man, lucky enough to play the Cinema 150 quite a few times before.
Yeah,
it ever
the
got
Village.
torn down. We
Yeah.
pushed a Harley out on stage. I mean, we just raised all kinds of hell.
Man, you know, we didn't talk about it last time you were here, but I'm pretty sure, if I'm not just insane, that among the first times I had really got out and started doing stand up was at the Warehouse. And
For
I
sure.
think it was your show, wasn't it?
Well, yeah, we had that big room out there.
Yeah.
And we didn't even care. We didn't ask the city. We didn't ask permits or anything. We just started. We knew a bunch of bands from states and states away.
It was
So we just
almost like
started
a speakeasy, you
I
know.
mean,
you
we
come
really
in and
did. We were
BYOB, and
breaking all the rules that there
every
were.
rule.
Hell yeah.
And man, it was just this underground thing, and people
Rock and
love
roll,
that kind of
baby.
stuff. Kind of
Yeah,
like what you're doing here. I mean, you're
Yeah.
turning something small into something big, and it really is cool, man.
Well, it was crazy. I remember that when I came out, I wore I had a little costume and I wore a sweater that was way too small and had the cowbell and was doing the Will Ferrell more cowbell thing, with my gut hanging out, and it was a great time, man. That was a great little venue.
Awesome bands came through there.
Man, there were some great bands. I remember Suffocate, Psychosis, Land of Mines.
Sir.
Who else was out there, man?
There were some,
Stereo Down. I mean, there were some great bands.
Horizontal Orange.
Yeah.
They were from Kansas or something. Those guys pulled up they had a Winnebago, and it smelled like fries.
Like fries.
So we went out there, and they had this thing converted to where they could go to McDonald's and beg for fryer grease.
Oh, they were running it on grease.
On tour using fryer. You could smell them a mile away.
Yeah.
Man, boy. Damn.
Everybody.
I bet they were always hungry too, man.
Oh, you know it.
Yeah.
Yeah, boy, if it smelled like fries all the time, I'd always be hungry, man. That's one thing that's hard for me to say no to are fries. Damn.
Saving on gas, though. That's a good,
Isn't that crazy?
yeah, that's wild.
I don't know
That's
how
wild.
Yeah, they're like using like biodiesel, basically, is what
yeah.
they were
Right,
making.
right.
Yeah, back when I had when I worked for a company called Travel Nurse Across America, and I developed hospital contracts for where travel nurses could go work, and you'd be amazed at some of the things that would happen. We had a travel team that we would provide furnished housing, apartments, things like that. They locked themselves in their apartment. They were making biodiesel in the apartment.
Nice.
Yeah, no, that did not end well for them, man. It did. They ruined the entire apartment, man. They were literally making the biodiesel in the apartment. And I'm like, man, are you crazy? The only one that was better, I think we had one drop acid and run through the parking lot naked, thinking he was an orange.
Wow.
That was pretty great.
That sounds like the warehouse too.
That does also sound like the warehouse. By the way, if you don't know, today's THV11 weather is a carbon copy of yesterday. Look, it's 18 degrees right now, and it's not going to get above 30. So tomorrow will be a little better, and then it'll progressively get better and better through the week. And of course, it'll be amazing for Arkansas. It's going to feel like, you're going to be like, wow, this feels great.
Spring.
Yeah, no, it's going to feel so much better. I think everybody might be interested in this, so I brought in a couple stories here that, let's just talk about it. Let me just lay it out here for you.
What you got?
Well, a whistleblower and a U.S. Air Force veteran said he's participated in the recovery of downed aircraft he believes were not created by humans. He said just visually looking at the object on the ground, you could tell it was extraordinary. It was not human. His name's Jake Barber, and he was speaking to a guy named Russ Coulthard of News Nation. He said, I saw what appeared to be an egg shape, a white egg, inconsistent with anything I've seen before. I can also tell you the reaction by my team. We all knew we were dealing with something extraordinary. He said, over the last couple of years, it's been confirmed to me by ranking members of the UAP task force that what we were working with that night was, in fact, NHI, non-human intelligence. And it was not a unique experience, he said. The possibility of non-human origin for such aircraft has been raised in connection with drone sightings in the past year. I don't know about that. I'm still not certain those are otherworldly. I think maybe
that's a big leap.
it is.
I haven't seen a drone that looks like an egg.
No, I haven't either. And I still think, as of now, at least, that the drones are from other countries.
Yeah.
I know that everybody wants to believe because they go in the ocean that they're the aliens hiding down there, and maybe they are.
It's fun to
it
entertain that.
It is fun to entertain it. Do you think? Well, first of all, I would think most everybody believes somewhere in the universe there's other life forms.
Getting off a waste of space.
That's a given, right?
Yeah.
All right. Now, so the question is, are they here? Are they on this planet
That's the
now?
big question.
What do you think?
I kind of doubt it.
Yeah.
I kind of doubt it.
You kind of doubt it. What about you?
Yeah, same. It's fun to think about, but now in reality, I wouldn't think there's any here. Yeah,
it's
maybe
hard to
maybe there
imagine.
have been before. I don't know.
Maybe they
So they're
visited
hiding
us.
so
Yeah.
well. I mean,
Yeah.
and they absolutely just want to be left alone. Obviously,
Well, yeah. I mean,
like
why,
Musk
why
said,
are
he's
they?
like they're hiding very well.
Yeah, why are they here then? If
Musk don't know.
Yeah, I mean,
You know?
yeah, but yeah. If anybody's going to know, it's Elon.
You would think so.
Yeah, you would think that guy probably knows where
If
any
there,
tech is.
if
Plus,
there
he
is
would-
one here, it's him.
Yeah, it could
No
be
doubt,
him.
no
He
doubt.
might be the alien.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no doubt.
exactly.
He is a weird dude. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
I do enjoy some of his sense of humor, but he's awkward as hell.
Yes, he is.
Did you see him yesterday?
Do the El Sieg howl?
Yes.
I saw that.
What,
Oh,
what the hell was that about?
I did see that. And I don't think he meant it to be
No,
that
I
way.
think it was
but,
just an awkward.
but man,
walk.
it's just not a great look.
Not a great
You got to
look,
think about that
dude.
stuff.
Not a great
I was like,
look.
man, that's probably not your finest moment there. You might want to
Unfortunate.
clean that up a little bit.
Imagine having enough money that you could do whatever you wanted wherever you go.
Yeah, it just
Oh
didn't matter.
yeah, no. I mean that guy's. Yeah, he could
crazy.
lose half his money and still have more than most people on the planet.
He could trip and fall
But
down.
I mean,
and
look
invent a business that
But look at what the dude's. I mean, say what you want about it. I mean, look, you got Tesla, SpaceX, the Boring Company.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
crazy.
I mean,
he's doing some work.
He's
for
got
sure.
a Neuralink.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, he's running not just one company, X. I mean, he's got like 5 companies he's
Yeah.
running. You know, I mean, and they're not small. These are not little bitty companies
Right.
that
Man,
do little
people
things.
people pick on him a lot for having so much money, but I'll bounce right back to that. Look, I mean, I don't even know how many people he employs, but I employ like 10.
Right.
And I bet he has
Oh,
thousands. I mean,
thousands.
he's
Right.
Yeah.
employing like a state full of people.
Man, you know,
so acting like he's just a billionaire with an island where he chills. I mean,
I don't
I don't
demonize-
think it's fair to him.
I don't demonize people who are wealthy. You know, I mean, I think more than ever you see more and more people with wealth giving money away, helping other
That's
people.
true.
I mean, I think we're seeing a big change in, you know, the way that I guess, you know, the wealthy perceive what they're going to do with their money.
Yeah.
You know, so many people now have committed to giving away all or half of their money, and you know, there was just another billionaire yesterday. I don't even know his name, but he's worth about 200 and I don't know. It was a lot of money, and he's going to give half of it away, just, you know, to charity and stuff
Right.
like that, different organizations. And I think that's great, man. I mean, you look at Mr. Beast.
Yeah.
Look at the model that he's made, doing what? Giving money away.
giving money away.
You know, and now if you hadn't watched that
Beast
that
Games?
Beast Games,
Man,
that's awesome.
And
man.
he's handing out money constantly on
Man,
that.
straight, and you talk about drama. There
Yeah.
is a
Oh,
lot of
yeah.
drama in it, man.
For sure.
That's cool.
Yeah,
sure.
no, it's a really, if you like competition reality shows,
That's one of the best I've
it-
seen. The way he formats it,
yeah.
and the
Yeah,
money
check
he
that
puts
out.
into
he's
it.
kind of taken the best of everything and put
Yeah.
it in one. And
Well,
but yeah, you're seeing more and more people who are you know, putting money out there, helping
Yeah.
people, you know, doing other things for people, and that's what you want. And demonizing people with money is not really a good idea anyway.
I mean, he catches so much. I mean, that guy works. I mean, twice as much as I do in a day. I mean, he like lives
Look, he gave
wherever
up.
he's like
yeah,
crashing on the couch and
Yeah,
stuff. I
he
mean,
gave
that's
up his homes just because people were saying, "Oh, well, you own all these homes." He said, "Well, I'll sell them all," and he did. You know,
He wants to go to Mars. Man, I heard him say that he wants to die on Mars. He said
Yeah,
he
doesn't want-
might if he
He
goes.
said he wants to die on Mars. That's
It says here that
He might make it.
he employs between 80,000 and 90,000 people between Neuralink, X Corp, SpaceX, and Tesla.
That's a lot of people,
Yeah,
and that's not even counting all of the, you know, tech advancements that he's single-handedly
Yeah,
responsible
yeah.
for creating.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, look at
PayPal.
he's flying rockets.
oh yeah.
I mean, that can land back on the base where
He's
they.
got NASA scratching their head. You know.
Yeah.
And I know people aren't a big fan of them now, you know, the Tesla Cybertrucks or electric
Oh.
vehicles, but I think one day, you know, this is just the kind of green era of it, you know. I think one day people will look back on it like, man, he really did make some technological advancements as far as,
Here's
you know,
here's-
non-combustion engines.
Tesla made people want to buy an electric car. All the mandates and the forcing people and trying to get all these other companies to make them didn't make anybody
Yeah, no,
want to
that
buy an
wasn't-
electric
no.
car.
If
It
anything,
made-
it did the opposite.
Yeah, it probably did the opposite of that. You know, typically what makes things move is the market. If the market wants it, it'll sell.
Right.
You know, and you can't make people do something that doesn't seem smart to them.
Yeah, you've got to entice them.
Well, it's
And,
not smart right now. I
Right.
mean,
Yeah, it doesn't make
honestly.
sense. Exactly.
Quick shout out to my nephew Colin. He lives, or he's got a shop right down the street here called Evolve Auto,
Yeah.
and he sells nothing but battery powered.
Is that what he does?
Tesla, Rivian,
Yeah.
all kinds
Nice.
of
Oh,
stuff.
he's got the Rivians.
Yeah,
those-
if
I
you
like
ever,
the
if you ever want
trucks.
to, We'll go get in a rocket.
Yeah, man, let's go
Rivians
do
are
it.
sweet,
Half
dude.
my friends go, stop, let me out.
Yeah. Well, the cool thing about an electric motor, and I have not driven one yet, is that
We can
there's-
arrange that.
I'd like to. There's no resistance. I mean, you don't have
Yeah,
the resistance of a combustion engine. So when you punch that thing,
it's there.
it's like, I guess the closest thing I could compare it to is like a rotary engine. I mean, it's
Right.
just instant, and there's no end to it. I mean, it's just power, raw power.
I mean,
So I
yeah,
don't-
if you're not sitting back, if you're not ready, I mean, it's like whiplash. It is. It's
Yeah.
crazy.
No,
And
I
then-
mean,
and then he flips a switch and it's driving itself.
yeah, that's
In
dope.
construction areas and I mean, I was
And
just
that-
amazed.
I
man.
think all of that technology is fascinating and amazing and awesome. I just think that we have to do it at a rate that makes sense where
Right.
we
No,
can
I agree.
support
Totally
it
agree.
for the grid and power and all of that. It has to be, something that the general consumer can afford.
Right.
I mean, that's first and foremost is to be affordable. But
he's
yes.
selling used stuff, so all of his stuff.
Oh,
is,
that's cool,
I
man.
mean, it's all reasonable.
I'd love to go down there. Yeah, let's set
I'll
that
set
up.
it up.
We'll do a little video and everything. I'd love to go
swear
down
it's-
there and see what's up with that,
dude,
man.
it's scary.
I bet it is. I bet it is, man. How fast that is.
The craziest roller coaster you've ever been on times 2.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. And I would love to ride in a car that's driving itself just to see what that's like. It's.
I've
that's
gotten
kinda cool.
to drive one of the Rivian trucks in
Oh,
Montana.
did you?
No,
Yeah.
I really like those.
Dude,
They're
those
good
are
looking.
I mean,
amazing.
obviously,
That-
I'm a truck guy anyway, but those to me,
I think those will go a long way in selling people on the electric vehicle. 'Cause
beautiful inside.
Yeah.
They'll raise up and down. They crab walk.
They have the
Yeah,
right
crazy.
look about them.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
design on the Rivian truck is really good.
Mhm.
You know, it's a good looking truck. I don't love the Cybertruck, honestly. I mean, it's interesting and I get why people dig
Right.
it, but it's not the look for me, but I get why a lot of, I mean, it looks kind of
Right.
what we imagine the future would
Yeah,
look
exactly.
like in, 15, 20 years ago.
Right.
Well, earlier this week, speaking of tech, Google announced Willow. It's the newest, most impressive quantum computing chip. They had a blog post about it, and the founder of Google Quantum AI boasted the chip is so mind-boggling fast that it must have borrowed computational power from other universes. As an example, he said the chip, Nevin said the chip computation in 5 minutes it would do a computation in 5 minutes that would take one of today's supercomputers 10 septillion years. I don't even know what a septillion is, but it's probably long. That number, he said, exceeds known timescales in physics, exceeds the age of the universe, and lends credence to the notion that quantum computation occurs in parallel universes. So, in other words, he's saying this proves we live in a multiverse. There are alternate universes. What do you think there are alternate universes?
I do, but I don't. I'm having a hard time connecting the dots.
dots here?
Yeah, with his
Yeah.
with his explanation.
I understand that. What do you think alternate universes exist?
Man, I'm a surface dweller. You guys are getting deep on me now.
It's too early in the morning.
It's too early for that.
Man,
You need to smoke a fatty first.
Yeah.
I understand.
like there's there's a whole nother place just like this one where we're doing slightly different stuff.
Maybe
it's a
some
wild
people, the theory might be that every possible decision you could make, you do make and plays out alternately.
right.
There's a
You know.
million different versions of your life.
Yes. The other
Oh,
thing,
that's so Matrix.
it is. The other thing I heard that I've thought a lot about one time, I heard many, many years ago, was someone who put forth the theory that time is not in fact linear, but that it's all happening simultaneously.
That's nuts.
Yeah, I like
dude.
that.
And that's
idea.
also a weird concept to think about.
You've seen them like fold time and space to try
Yeah.
to
Yeah,
explain this.
Yeah.
I mean,
I can't ever keep up with those
I'm
videos.
scratching my head.
It's fascinating, the whole thought of it, and how it works.
Interstellar did a good job at kind of
It
depicting
did.
that.
It
Yeah.
did.
Yeah.
I do think, my thoughts have always been, as far as ghosts go, that more likely to me it was a dimensional bleed over than
Right.
it was an actual ghost.
Right.
You know, I don't know. I mean,
Interesting.
it's just a thought. You
Yeah,
know?
yeah.
But I am fascinated by that. I think a lot of people are. I mean, we all kind of want to know what's in the world beyond us. You know,
No doubt.
I think most people don't want to just go, yeah, when it goes dark, it's dark.
Right. Right.
Now that may be very optimistic on our part.
Yeah,
To be honest
yeah.
with you, it
Right.
may just be dark.
Yeah.
You know,
And
but
just like before you were born.
yeah, but I don't remember that, so
Right,
I
exactly.
won't remember after either.
And,
you know,
and time existed for a long time before you were born. It's going to exist
Are
a
you
long time
Are
after
you
you
sure?
die.
Are you sure?
Or did it start right then?
Yeah, it started right then.
We're talking about companies. You might be surprised with some of the origins of companies that you're familiar with. For example, TCBY. A lot of people thought TCBY stood for the country's best yogurt, but at one point it stood for this can't be.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, yogurt. But according to this, prior to 1984, the company's name was This Can't Be Yogurt. But a lawsuit from a competitor, I Can't Believe It's Yogurt, forced them to create a new name from the initials, eventually using the country's best yogurt. So they had to change it.
Remember the first time you ever saw that stuff? I was like, "This is ice cream." I mean,
Yeah.
I'll take it.
Yeah, no, it was ice cream.
It's a little
Yeah.
different. I mean, I couldn't.
It's slightly different, but not much. You're right.
Well, now the thing is custard, which is the
Custard,
same thing. You
same
eat that,
thing,
and it's
yeah.
like, this is ice cream.
It's
I
ice
don't know what
cream.
you're
Yeah,
talking
yeah,
about.
yeah. Did you know Nintendo used to make playing cards? It was a card
Really?
maker when it started in 1889.
Wow.
Yeah,
I did not know that.
Nintendo Kapai's playing cards were famous in Japan. People used them for gambling by the Japanese mafia. And Nintendo also
Figures.
forayed right into the hotel business, and they started a love hotel for couples, which didn't make profit, by the way. And then they started making game consoles in 1983, and that's when business really took off. 1983. Think about
Keith.
that, man.
I remember
Swing
that, man.
until you hit.
I got that first Atari, and man, we stayed. I mean, we were just kids. I mean, we like stayed up 2 nights in a row because we were just jacked.
Just
on Atari.
geeked on it, yeah. I couldn't. My parents,
Tank.
they didn't understand investing in anything like that. They weren't going to spend money on it. But I had a
Right.
friend who had an Atari, and I would go to his house before school,
Yeah.
and we'd sit there and we'd play. You know, what's the
Pong and-
Pitfall?
Yeah, Pitfall.
Yeah,
great.
Pitfall was the favorite. You know, it's kind of an Indiana Jones-esque type thing.
Right, right.
Terrible graphics, but at that point we had no graphics.
Yeah,
so
you had nothing to
sure.
it
compare
was
it to.
super cool.
Yeah.
You know, you'd play. You know, what was there? Missile Command,
Asteroids.
Asteroids,
loved Asteroids.
Pong,
Dig Dug.
Dig Dug,
Yeah.
yeah, all that. Let's see. William Wrigley Jr. used to help his dad maintain his soap shop. At first, they used to give away free umbrellas to people who bought soap from them. The umbrella was replaced by chewing gum, and customers liked the chewing gum so much that they requested Wrigley's make more of it, and they ended up, the giveaway became the whole basis of the company,
I'll be down.
the chewing gum. Yeah. Let's see what else here. Fanta, Pearl Harbor incident stopped the influx of Coca-Cola syrup to Germany. Max Keith, the chief of Coca-Cola in Germany, decided to make another soda flavor to keep Germany's soda thirst intact, and thus Fanta was born. And that's how
That's
that came
crazy.
about. Yeah, it's wild,
And I
isn't
think
it?
I saw on the History Channel where Coca-Cola, like 100 years ago, had the chance to buy Pepsi for next to nothing.
Nothing.
Right.
And they got in there. They both got cocky. Now I don't need it. And I mean, that's
Yeah.
their largest
Competitor. Yeah, PepsiCo. Yeah. I don't know who likes Pepsi. The rest of their products are fine. I don't like Pepsi at all.
Yeah, it's like
Flat Coke to
it's
me.
like it's exactly how I feel about it.
Yeah, I mean, it
it's
just-
like I'll take Pepsi if there isn't a Coke.
I'll not take Pepsi. I'll take water. Yeah.
Is it that bad?
It is to me.
pretty
Yeah, I don't like it. When Paul Gavin started Motorola, which was called Victrola then,
Nice.
his intention to make car radios. He then changed the name of the radio to Motorola, a fusion of the words moto and the Victrola. They started making phones in the 60s, and that's how the cell phones ended up getting their names.
That's crazy.
There's kind of some interesting things about some of the companies right there. What do you remember, being a kid, some of the companies that were really big that aren't around anymore? I remember the UA theaters. The UA4
Do.
used to be at Geyer Springs.
Definitely. Speaking of Mike Woodall, you know,
Yeah,
he was
right
running
there.
putt-putt right there. We used to hang out.
UA4,
Yeah.
right there at the Southwest City Mall,
That was
which is
good
now
times.
what is the state trooper headquarters.
Yep.
But
that was probably a good move for Southwest Little Rock.
no, it was a great move. You know, they were trying to revitalize Southwest when they put that mall in, and it did not go well.
No.
That mall failed from almost the beginning. It was still around for many years, and then finally it just lay dormant forever till the state troopers came in and bought it. You know, and believe it or not, that helped Southwest quite a bit.
I agree.
Yeah,
I'm
it did.
still in Southwest, so yeah.
Are you?
Yeah.
Do you still live over there?
Man, my grandparents bought some land there in 1929.
Wow.
And it's 6 acres, and it's me and my mother and my wife.
Okay. Yeah.
Cats, dogs.
Yeah. Are you out the Chico way,
Man,
somewhere down that
if
way?
you're at Chico and Mapleville Cutoff, I'm like a couple hundred yards.
Okay.
We're kind of back off. I thought you'd been there.
Maybe I have. It's been a long time ago.
200 or 300 yards off the road, so we've got a little spot that's still in the woods.
That's cool, man.
But yeah, it's like the front side of Yorkwood or something.
Yeah, I know where you're exactly where
When
you're
I was
at.
going to school, you know, all the kids were.
Yorkwood was
Yorkwood.
that was the place when I was
Yeah,
a
they
kid.
had a
man.
swimming pool.
Oh
and all.
my God,
I mean, I
they
was
were
like,
the
man.
upper end community.
Yeah.
They had 8 wheels right there,
Right.
the skating rink. You know,
And I
still
remember
skating rink.
I worked there for just. I mean, they would like let me in. You know, I was going there obviously as a kid and hung out so much. They were like, "Why don't you just here's the shirt. Why don't you direct traffic a little bit?" So
Yeah.
begging to get in every single
Man.
time we open the doors.
Skating was a big thing back
It
then.
was.
And I was never. I mean, I was always good enough to skate. But I was always jealous of the guys who'd go around spinning on one leg, going backwards, and doing all that
I
stuff.
couldn't afford the good skate. You know, everybody had those badass skates.
Right,
I mean, I couldn't afford.
Oh, I
it.
just had whatever they gave us.
That's me.
Yeah, that's all I had. Yeah,
got as good as I could with those.
Yeah.
Rolled with it.
yeah. I heard a lot of Lionel Richie. I know that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, man.
Reverse couple skate.
I don't feel like kids do that as much anymore. That
Couple
used to
skate?
be just the skating rink, hit the
Oh.
skating rink in general.
I don't know.
No doubt.
It's
That used to
super
be the prime
popular
form of entertainment for
over
kids.
there, but I don't. I mean, I don't know how many people do. They still have a skating rink, I think, in Benton.
Yeah,
Bud's roller rink, isn't that still there?
yeah. I think Bud's is still there. The one in Conway shut down a few years
Is
ago.
that
I
one
think.
on? Is it Bowman? It's Bowman, isn't it?
Oh, the ice
The
rink,
ice rink,
skating
yeah.
rink.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah,
they have that
yeah.
over there
And I
too.
remember going there as a kid. Some of my family.
I've never
knew
done
the
ice
people that-
skating. I've
It's
never.
pretty cool.
I think I would
Yeah,
bust my
Pretty
ass.
cool.
my wife keeps trying to talk me into it. I'm like, listen.
Well, now I'd break my damn.
That's what I'm
leg.
saying. I mean, listen,
As a
that's
kid, it was cool.
one line. I'm worried about my ankle on that.
Yeah, yeah.
know, I mean-
yeah, you're all just on that one
She's
blade.
like, no, it's not as hard as you think. I don't know.
Yeah, I gotta.
I've broken plenty of bones, so if it can be done, I'll do it.
But
I
you're
got
ready to get in the cage.
That's different. I can stand on flat feet.
Right.
Yeah, no, that's funny though. It's funny the things that we will take a risk on, isn't it?
Get
Yeah,
slammed
no,
through a table.
That's
but
right.
not
I'll
the
take
ice
that
skate.
risk, but I'm not getting on the ice skates. Yeah. Well, once you've broken your ankle, look, man, when I was 16, and it's a bad time to break your ankle, by
Yeah.
the way, because you're in prime
Right.
trying to get girls' time.
Yeah.
And so a cast is
You
not
ain't
cool.
looking cool with a
No,
cast.
you're not cool. But there was a creek that I lived over on right across from McClellan,
Yeah.
and a street called Denham, and there was a creek that ran right by the house, and that it was we used to catch crawdad in it. We'd fish with a string and a piece of bacon, go catch
Yeah.
crawdad, stuff like
Very
that.
familiar with crawdad catching.
Luckily, we'd never bitten, but there were water moccasins, all kinds of things. Well, the city came through because it kept flooding, and widened it out and made it a big concrete viaduct.
Yep.
And so when they did that, for the workers to get in and out, they put those rebar ladders on the side.
Mhm.
Well, we were playing Spotlight. which
Surely
is
they
hide
put
and-
those ladders there for us.
Yeah, right. Yeah, surely it was for me. We were playing Spotlight, which is hide and seek in the dark.
Yeah.
And that's all it was. And I wasn't even supposed to be hiding there. It was off limits, but I was. And so I was climbing out, and my foot slipped behind the rung of that rebar ladder, and I fell completely backwards.
Oh, so you're stuck.
Yeah, so
You're
it,
stuck.
it broke my ankle in 3 places.
Oh,
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
that's
it was
not
bad.
good.
No, my mom, I literally lived next door to that creek, so I crawled
Mhm.
to my front door.
Oh,
My parents thought I was being melodramatic at not I mean, I can't imagine why.
Right.
Not me.
I'm not hurt that bad.
Come in screaming.
I'm watching the news.
Yeah, she said, I think it's just sprained. I'm like, no, it's not.
Yeah.
And by morning, it swelled up like a softball, man. It was massive.
Right.
I think she apologized for about 2 years for not believing me. It was because it was
I
bad.
broke my collarbone on a skateboard one time, and I went home, and my dad was like, "Roll him around a little bit. He'll be all right."
Yeah. Put some dirt on it.
Literally, that's laid in front of the TV. I was like, I know.
Pour a little
something's wrong. I
dust
mean,
on
I'd like
it.
stand up there, my arm would be hanging way down here. And I remember, just let's see
But
how
that
let's
had
see
to
how
hurt.
it goes in the morning. In the morning, I mean, it was just like you said.
Yeah, I've never broken. That's one bone I've never broken.
Yeah.
How tough was that
Dude,
one?
it hurts.
Yeah,
I bet it did.
It hurts. I like we got to the hospital, and it actually had stopped hurting, and I was like at the hospital, and they put me in a wheelchair. Dumbass kid. I like wheelchairs. This is what I like to do in them. Vroom, so you're trying to grab it.
Yeah.
Right about here, it was like lightning struck.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, it's evil.
Now, let's see, I've broken my knee, my ankle, a finger or toe, maybe my arm. I'm trying to remember. I think I did break my arm once.
I remember going through the fingers. For some reason, playing drums, you end up beating your
Oh, I
fingers.
bet. Yeah.
Death.
I
Beating them to
could, I
hell.
could see that, man. I could see that.
Say, I've got a similar story. I broke my arm on a bicycle, and when you break something, you just know, even if
Yeah.
you've never broke
Yeah,
something.
you typically,
I was probably 10 and wrecked on my bike and just knew I'd broke my wrist. And,
Yeah.
Same. My mom was like, you didn't. You
No,
break-
it's
you're
just
being,
sprained.
You're being a little dramatic. Why
Yeah.
don't you just lay down and chill out? And she
Dude,
was
you
a
get
nurse.
prosecuted for that now.
Yeah,
I mean,
Yeah,
she was
no,
actually
that's
a nurse,
the
so I went to work with her the next
wow.
day, and they did an X-ray, and we're
my
like,
kid's
"Yeah, it's
with
broke."
me. He said something's broke.
Yeah.
Check him out.
Yeah, go
Same
ahead and look
thing. I
at
think
it.
she apologized for the rest of my life. I could bring it up now and give her shit about
and
it.
she'd
Yeah.
still feel bad about it, wouldn't she?
Hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, man, I've injured myself in so many different ways. I was talking to someone, like if you look at my head from, like if you guys look at it, you can see there's a little what looks like just a little residue of a knot there.
Yeah.
It's because when I was probably in my, I don't know, young 20s, late teens, young 20s, and remember when people would break dance and they'd be on their back and they'd just pop up.
Oh,
straight
yeah.
up?
Yeah.
Well, I always want to do that,
When I
but
was
I couldn't.
skinny, I could do that.
I couldn't do that, right? So I said, well, I was trying to do it on my mattress. And when I came up, I caught the bottom of the windowsill, knocked myself out.
Oh, nah.
Yeah, man.
Oh, and
Looked
you-
like a unicorn, man.
Yeah.
I was lucky I didn't get concussed, because I go in.
Right.
But yeah, man, there's been a number of ways.
Yeah.
I had a drill come off a screw, and the drill went right through my hand.
Oh,
I've seen that happen. That sucks.
Oh.
Yeah, no, that it did suck. I promise you that one was pretty bad. I did not like that one at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, and not to mention, jamming my finger in a saw, that was not
Yeah.
good. Losing the end of the finger was not fun.
I think I remember that. Yeah, I think
Yeah.
you were on the radio then.
Yeah, I was. Yeah, no, I took a few days off after that.
Yeah, that's scary.
No, it was terrible, man. It was the worst. And going to Slee Memorial was the worst of the worst. I promise you, I'd rather go to a veterinary office.
They said it'll grow back.
Yeah, no, that's what he said. He literally goes, I said, listen, man, I remember 8th grade science. I'm not a damn lizard. What are you talking about? And he goes, no, if it's above the knuckle, it normally, and it did. It grew back. It just got a weird little, and I still can't feel right there.
Right. Still numb.
Yeah, no, it'll never feel anything there again. But so I can put it right up my nose and
Yeah.
Let's do something different here, shall we?
There's Colin. He said, come get in one of these Teslas when we're ready.
Oh yeah.
I'm sorry.
Oh, that's all right. He said, come try it out.
Yeah, we can go up there when we leave here
Oh
if you want
yeah,
to.
man, that sounds fun, man. Yeah, we'll definitely do something.
It's a trip.
All right. Well, let's talk about this and see what you guys think. Now, Darrin, you have kids?
I do not.
You do not have kids. Okay.
Nope.
All right. You don't yet either. But
No, sir.
I think that at least you were a kid at one point, so
still
you
a
can
kid.
probably comment on this. Like the classic 80s song, Parents Just Don't Understand. That was some Will Smith, by the way.
Yeah.
No one knows this better than their teens. And a thread on Reddit where all good things happen has them calling out the most toxic things moms and dads do. They said, what's something that your parents do that drives you insane? Let's see if this rings true to you. They had over 3,000 responses. So one said they comment on literally everything, to the point I was scared to listen to music for years because I didn't want my parents to comment on my musical taste. They view their comments as harmless, but it causes insecurities. Over music?
Yeah, I don't know.
My parents didn't like any music
Yeah,
I listened to that I
none
can
at
think
all.
of. I mean, almost nothing. Rick Springfield, she liked that.
Yeah.
Other than that, man, when I started listening to Motley Crue, oh my God.
Shout out the devil.
My mom thought that's exactly the album. She thought I had gone to Satan.
Yeah.
I'm taking you to church.
Yeah, no, she took me to my grandma to get me straightened out,
Right.
and tell my
That
grandma.
was, dude, that is a classic old school move, right?
Oh,
Like,
it
dude,
is.
you're acting up, you're screwing up, you're going to your grandma's
You're going to
house.
grandma.
Yeah, I got away with a lot more with my grandmother than I did
Yeah.
with my parents. My dad wouldn't put up with shit.
No,
he
my
didn't want
dad
to hear.
either.
He didn't. I mean, it was
There
pretty
was
much
no
bullshit.
excuse.
Whatever I was listening to was bullshit.
Yeah, it was trash.
If it comes out of those speakers in your
Yeah.
room, it's
No, it was
junk.
trash.
Yeah.
It was absolute trash. There was nothing. As a kid, I could remember that I did. My dad liked.
Oh, for sure.
You know,
no.
And when I was
couldn't
working
even
with
hold
him,
the flashlight right when he was working on the car.
he would always say, he said, "Boy, I've been doing this all your life, and you're not any better at it than this." Okay.
Yeah.
What should I be? You've been doing it.
I was
not
about
me.
to say.
Yeah, it's mean shit.
Yeah, no, inevitably, in the 80s, you're always working on your car. And so almost, if not weekly, every other week for sure, my dad's out working on the car and he's got me holding a flashlight,
Right.
so he can, work on it, turn the wrench or whatever. And that was always the worst, standing out there doing that, because I was always going to get in trouble.
Yeah, I'll get yelled at.
Hand me such and such
He's gonna
wrench, and then whatever you hand him back is going to
It's
be
not
wrong.
right. It was
Right.
not ever right.
That's
No.
another thing
That's a
about
socket, God damn it.
Right.
Oh, my bad.
That's another thing about old school dads. They would be mad at you for not knowing some shit that they didn't teach you. Like, you know what I mean? Like, how do you not know this? Like, I don't know, dude. You haven't showed me.
What do they
Like,
teach you in school anyway?
Yeah, right.
Right. Oh man.
Let's see. This person said they always talk about how smart I am, like I'm a child prodigy, a Sheldon Cooper. It bothers me because they put too many expectations on me.
I cannot relate to that, bro.
Not
I
at
don't
all.
relate to that at all. I call my brother and ask him. He's the genius. Let's see. When my parents commented negatively on anything I said or did as their first reaction, it taught me to keep secrets.
For sure.
Well, yeah. I mean, yeah, that's probably true, because again, I'm not sure that most of the things I said
Right.
or did my parents liked or were supportive of.
Right. Yeah, this all just seems like a normal complaint
Yeah,
about
it's just
parents.
normal
yeah.
kid stuff.
Who hit a pole with your car?
Oh, I swerved for a deer.
I know I had that when I was let's see, I was 16, and I got a Z28. Now
Nice.
it was my brother's car, my older brother at the time, and it was still an older brother, but he was getting something else, and so I got that. And it was a 1980 Z28 with the T-tops. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
Oh, it was
Hell,
pretty.
the guy now,
It had
baby.
the hood induction. It had the air induction. I mean, it was as dope as it gets. You know, I mean, it had all the whole package. And so I thought it was the coolest dude in the world, man. And I remember I wasn't supposed to drive. I could only drive like around the block.
Right.
That was the rule, because I didn't have my license yet. I only had a permit. But there was a girl that lived down the road about a mile, and I wanted her to see the car, because why wouldn't I?
Right.
I mean, I'm trying to, and
Sure.
you pull up in that car, you might have a chance, And so I went and saw her and impressed her, which was great. But on the way back, I didn't straighten out the curve properly, and I jumped across the ditch and messed up the front of my car. Now, luckily, somebody came along and pulled me out, which was great. He had a winch, and he winched me out. I went home, and immediately, I don't know why that I had it in the back of the car and I wasn't using it. I had a bra for the car. I put the bra on.
So hide it
My
perfectly.
dad never knew ever that I had wrecked that car.
Hell yeah.
That's pretty slick.
Yeah, I got lucky on that one, because he would have beat my ass.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Matter of fact, about a year later, he got rid of the car because the electrical harness went bad. And he was like, "Man, it's going to cost me $1,200. You're going to have to get another car, man." I was like, "No, this is
Come on, dude.
Come on, not this one, man. This is the one." Yeah, I downgraded. Let's see. This one said, "I work a full 40 hours a week, but if I spend my Saturday playing video games, quote, according to my parents, it's all I do."
That's it.
Yeah, I mean that's what your parents are supposed to do.
Yeah,
They
for
say,
sure.
They say things like that.
Face
to
in
you.
that front of that screen. I mean,
Yeah.
remember when you were a kid?
Oh.
With the Atari, you had to get close.
Right.
The
Yeah.
screen was small.
They used to say if you sit too close to the TV, it was
You're gonna
bad
go
for your eye.
blind.
You're going to
Yeah.
go blind. We haven't.
Yeah, now
Now we
everyone's
wear
got 9
now we wear
screens in front of
VR
Yeah.
VR glasses right here in front
Yeah,
of our
that's
face.
right. That's right. Let's see. My mother always offers to help me, but if I let her, she brings up every individual task she's helped me with the next time she's upset and tells me I've done nothing to deserve her help. No, that sounds like a bad mom.
My mom loves to go through my girlfriend, all the old. I'm like, I'm married. Mom, I've been forever. She wants to
Still
go
talks
through.
about that?
Yeah, she wants to go through all. It was
Why?
cute. So I have no idea.
Ask about them, inquire.
Definitely.
Yeah, no,
totally
don't-
uncool.
Don't ever talk about any female around my wife that even from when I was a kid.
Yes.
No,
Please.
there is no other
Not
woman.
even the second
I
grade
never dated
girlfriend.
anybody. I don't know anybody else. I've never met another
My
female.
mom just doesn't get. She thinks it's the more I try to get her to not do it, the more she wants to.
Wow, that's tough right there. Yeah, I remember when God love her, before my grandmother passed away, and she was in her 90s, but she had Alzheimer's and dementia, and she remembered me very well as I was the first grandson. So she always knew me, but she didn't remember who my wife was.
Oh shit.
And so the first time that I went in, she called her the wrong name, and I was like, I'm never
Stephanie.
taking her
Cindy.
back. Never
Deborah.
taking her back again. Never taking her back again. You'll never see my grandma again. I'm sorry. That was a bad moment for me. I was like, oh, no, not that.
Brutal.
Yeah. All right. Let's see what else we got going on here. We got all kinds of stuff to talk about. By the way, in just a little bit, I want to, we're going to do a big mead tasting with the Arkansas Meadery.
Nice.
And I think you're going to love it. Look, mead, if you don't know, it's pretty cool. You'll learn about it. But
Old school beer, yeah.
well, yeah. I mean, in a way of speaking, beer is grains, hops, barley, right? Wine, grapes, fruit, right? Mead is honey based. So yes, and I didn't even know that honey would ferment.
Right. Yeah.
I guess anything with sugar does, So, but it's really good. We're going to do a tasting. You get to see it, some different ones, and really, really good. So
Sweet.
be sure and stick around for that. But let's talk about something else here. I know what I want to do. Let's do this. Yeah, baby.
Let's go.
This is the segment. Back you up.
Don't feel jealous.
People do food and shit. You say, oh brother. Hey, it's not a copy or a clone of any previous bit. But if you think so, hey, we don't give a shit.
I know, man. I know you want me to be singing for death metal disco, but I
Dude,
can't.
it's on.
And the news.
I'm too busy, man. I'm gonna be honest with you.
It's on. We're
I'd
gonna have
love
a
to.
cameo, buddy.
Yeah. That's the video of the day, wouldn't it? That's not a good audition. Let's see. Over the weekend, a Central Florida woman, told you this early in the news, but if you didn't hear it, it's worth hearing again. Central Florida woman arrested for the second time this month on drug possession charges. Her name, Theron. She was booked after being caught carrying a bag that had the words, "Definitely not a bag full of drugs," written on it. Inside that bag, it was full of drugs. Yeah, she's in jail. A Massachusetts hockey mom. And I'm going to tell you what, if you've ever had a mom or dad and you played sports and you got the overexcited mom and dad, you know the one I'm talking about.
Oh, man.
The one that thinks their kid's going to be the next Nolan Ryan or whatever.
5 years old and they're screaming at the other
That's right.
adults right there.
Yeah, this is the hockey version. A Massachusetts hockey mom slapped with multiple charges after assaulting 2 hockey refs. It went down at the Foxborough Sports Center. She was only identified as a player's mom and assaulted the officials on the ice. Another man tossed from the game for verbal abuse. And it's so bad, lawmakers in Massachusetts have now introduced 4 different bills in an attempt to address problems with assaults on sports officials. Man, people who play hockey stay pissed off, don't they?
I thought you could beat each other up in hockey. I thought that was the idea.
Yeah, I thought it was okay. I kind of regret that I never got into it when I was younger because now hockey looks kind of interesting to me.
No doubt.
Yeah.
Have you ever watched hockey? Have been a hockey
A
fan?
little bit. Yeah, like I said, I'm there. I'm looking for a fight.
Yeah.
I had a buddy that used to say he would always talk about NASCAR, and he said, "Man, if they'd mix hockey and NASCAR," he said, "I want to see."
Oh yeah, that'd be
I
great.
want to see one of those guys beat the shit out of one of the other guys with a
Yeah,
tire
no,
iron
that'd
or
be
whatever.
great. That would be awesome. I'd love to. Maybe they could just stop at a certain lap and just get out and fist fight.
Yeah, and
back in
then
the
go
car.
back to okay, bud. Let's
Yeah,
race some.
yeah. Let's
Do
race.
do you remember the Arkansas River Blades back in the day?
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, that did not last long, but yes,
No.
They were here. Every country has different slang terms for common occurrences. In America,
America.
a car crash is known as a fender bender. In Australia, they've got their wreck terms polished. If you get into a crash down under, your boring ass fender bender could be referred to as a bingle or a prang. They don't rhyme, but that's what they call it, a bingle or a prang. In the UK, residents of Telford, Shropshire are livid over a proposed home community. Overhead mock-ups of the 250 home development show the outline of the community the developers want to erect, bearing a striking resemblance to a penis. Town councilors, none of whom are named Johnson, are debating whether or not to approve the plan, but response from those who live in the area have made their voices heard, with 85% wanting to give the plan the shaft. I did not write that. I did not. Hey, can I get you to move? Yes, thank you. It's some odd interference that happened.
Gotcha. You told me last time.
That's all right. No big deal. This is cool. Robotics at Sony Computer Science Lab and the Neuroplano Institute in Kyoto, which is a thing that exists, have developed a robotic exoskeleton that can help piano players increase speed on keys. In a study, the group performed experiments with the exoskeleton hand robot and more than 100 trained piano players. The exoskeleton fits over the top of the hand, attaches to the fingers, allows the robot to control your fingers. The researchers say the player's performance increased after playing with the help of the robo hand. They even found that just using it on one hand improved in performance in both hands. That's kind of crazy.
That's pretty
wild.
Can you imagine that for guitar?
Yeah, that'd be crazy.
You know, where you could play much faster. It would train you to do that.
I'll take twos.
Yeah, that'd be cool, wouldn't it? That'd be cool. I've tried so many times to play guitar, and I just can't get the chords, man. My fingers are just.
Me too.
Yeah, and you do it.
Well, man, it's something you have to just literally.
I should have started young.
The first year, you just get a guitar and keep it in your hands, for the first year, and then you go a long ways, and then from there, it's just a battle. It's like a game you can't ever win.
Yeah. See, it's like, when we were kids playing video games, you had a joystick with a couple 3-button stops,
And
now you have to commit to, if you want to play Call of Duty or whatever it is.
You might as well be flying a plane.
Yeah. You're going to have to take a college course on how to use all the buttons now.
No doubt.
And that's too much for me. I like simple.
Yeah.
How about this? You can buy a car or a coffee table. That's the choice someone might make in an auction coming up soon, as a coffee table built from a genuine Ferrari V8 engine is going up for auction. On average, a new car costs about $48,000. This coffee table expected to sell for between $50 and $75,000.
Wow.
The car the engine came from was used in a competition, and its non-furniture life, it put out 562 horsepower.
Wow.
The tabletop that surrounds the engine's a half-inch thick piece of tempered glass with the engine supporting it in the middle. The entire thing weighs about 250 pounds. It's about 5 feet by 55 inches. So if you're looking for a statement piece and you got 50 to 75 grand,
That's pretty crazy.
that'd be it would be a wild ass table to have in the house, wouldn't it?
Good
And there
conversation.
was a show on for a while where a guy was making like furniture out of like old planes and stuff.
Oh
It
yeah.
seems like he was making them out of wings, or he'd be polishing up wings of planes,
That's
making
cool.
desks and stuff. Obviously, it didn't hang very long, but
That's still pretty dope though.
it was everything he made was cool as shit.
Yeah. There have been some uninspiring stories to come out of Los Angeles wildfires, but this is a new one. 2 people from Oregon arrested after they showed up in the Palisades fire evacuation zone dressed as fire department personnel, complete with turnout gear. They had CAL FIRE T-shirts, helmets, radios, a fire truck. Dustyn and Jennifer Neal arrested for impersonating a firefighter The truck was bought at an auction, and the agency they said they were with, the Roaring River Fire Department, doesn't exist.
Wow.
What are you doing?
What are you doing?
You've bought a fire truck, you bought all the gear. Now you're showing up to a wildfire to do what? You just thought, well, we'll just show up and hang out, or
Just go to the academy if that's if you want to be a
become a
firefighter.
firefighter. It's a lot cheaper too to do it that.
You see people do that on TikTok all the time with being a cop. You know, they'll
Yeah.
buy an old cop car, an old cruiser from an auction.
Yeah.
They'll buy an outfit from a Halloween store, and then they'll go pulling people over and get,
Yeah.
popped.
Yeah, we had one called the Blue Light Rapist, and he got put away.
Yeah.
A man was arrested in Memphis over the weekend after he broke into his mom's home and poured a relative's cremated ashes in her toilet. The mom said that her son, Adele Totten, had broken a window, came in the house. Then her son took down the indoor security camera before putting the dead relative in the toilet. He's been charged with aggravated burglary, and they call it abuse of a corpse, but if it's ashes, that's not much of a corpse there.
Memphis is always buck, man. It's crazy.
It's a wild place, isn't it, man? No doubt about it. All right, and let's see. Let's end on this one right here. I think this will be fine. It takes a lot of awareness for a dog. Security cameras in Turkey caught kind of some heart-tugging footage last week of a stray dog who walked up to a vet clinic carrying its unconscious puppy in its mouth. Before the dog showed up, someone found a puppy they said was the only survivor of a stray litter. The clinic took the puppy from the dog, determined it was suffering from hypothermia, had a low heart rate. The worried mother dog followed the staff into the clinic to watch them. Happy ending time. They saved both puppies, and all three are recovering at the clinic.
Yay!
Yeah, how about that? That's great.
That is
isn't it?
great.
No, that's pretty cool, actually, that it took it somehow to the vet. All right, so I told you that we had the Arkansas Meadery today, so I want to run this. It's really, really fascinating. If you like drinking, if you're interested in booze, if you're interested in the process of making booze, this is really, really dope. So I hope that you guys will enjoy this quite a bit. Let's go. What is going on, everybody? I'm so excited right now. We've got the Arkansas Meadery here, and if you don't know about them, man, you should know about them. We're going to learn about them today. We're going to try some of the beverages. This is really exciting. This is Tony. He is the owner, operator of the Arkansas Meadery. Tell him a little bit about the Meadery.
How much time do you got?
I got plenty. Go ahead, man.
Well,
Take your time.
So my name is Tony Fry. I've been a long time beer brewer, winemaker, and of course mead maker since like 2000. It's kind of a side hobby of mine. A lot of my friends have gone on and opened up their own breweries. Stone's Throw, for example.
Of course.
And
That's our good friend Theron down there from Stone's Throw. You know him.
And ultimately was part of the founding member of Central Arkansas Fermenters, which was the local nonprofit club for people to come in and learn about brewing beer, making wines,
Kind of
making meads.
Supporting the industry and bringing people in to keep it going.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And so kind of a founding member of it since 2003, just kind of a passion of mine. And meat is one of those things, 9 times out of 10 people think that I'm saying meat, like steaks.
I literally thought I was here for meat.
Yeah, okay.
Are you telling me we're not here for meat?
Yeah, well, so I have to make sure I'm pronouncing that correctly 9 times out of 10, because most people in Arkansas have no idea what mead is.
Well, you know, I'm probably one of those people. So educate me. Tell me about mead and what it is.
It is the oldest fermented beverage of mankind. The thoughts were that there was probably a honeycomb in a tree back way before anybody had any alcoholic beverages or the word alcohol was even a thing.
Yeah.
And it fell probably from a bear getting in it, got some water in it, and they went out and grabbed the honey and they drank this honey. And of course, you know what happened.
They liked it. That'd be my guess.
Yeah, they pretty much did like it. From there, they understood that it was actually fermented, and after that became.
So wait, I know that when you make beer or alcohol and it ferments, but honey ferments?
Oh, absolutely.
Like a fruit does?
You put anything that got sugar in it, it'll ferment with the right type of yeast. Of course, obviously, wild yeast is in the air, and you can cultivate it and whatnot. But ultimately, that's where mead came from. It's been all over the U.S. A lot of people think that Vikings invented the mead, and they did not. They were just a participant in it, just like everyone in the world.
So how does mead differ from any other type of, what is its distinct profile in alcohol?
Yeah, so I get that a lot, and I usually tell people that as a grape is to a wine that makes a winery, honey is to a mead that makes a meadery.
Mm-hmm.
It depends. So mead is very flexible. It can mix with a lot of different fruits, spices. I mean, you name it. I mean, I even have a root beer here today.
Oh, okay. Wow.
So it's very flexible, but ultimately, if you ferment it all the way out to where there's no sugars in it, it's very comparable to like a Chardonnay, like a dry Chardonnay.
Okay, so it's comparable in the wine families. It's
absolutely.
More than a beer family.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of people ask me if it's, is it like a beer? Is it like a wine? It tends to be more of a wine because it is considered by the federal government, by the TTB, which is our regulations, our wonderful government. They actually have a classification of it being a honey wine.
Okay.
So my understanding of it is that you have a 12% to 18% is what they consider a wine type. So that's why it would fit in that category, right?
Correct. Yeah. So a traditional style mead is going to be anywhere from 12%. Ultimately, even my Buffalo River Float root beer that I'm putting out, it's a 7.2%.
So it's like Sam Jackson beer. It'll get you drunk.
Yeah, I mean, it'll get you there, but it is still considered a wine by the federal government because it's 7%. But a lot of people will consider it a hydromel because the word hydro meaning it has water in it.
Mm-hmm.
Or see, we're going all different.
So how much is like a regular beer, like a Budweiser or something?
Like 4 to 5% usually.
So it's a small difference.
Well, 7 to 12%, he said. Is that right?
Oh, 7 to 12. I just heard 7.
7 to 18 is usually the average. I mean, you'll find there are some meads out there that are like 5 and 6%. They're very carbonated.
Yeah, we don't mess
You
with
control that by how long you keep the fermentation in there, right?
You control it by how much honey you add to it on the front end. So
Okay. All right. Well,
sorry, I got a little off track, but
A lot of the federal regulations are based on what the base sugar of the beer is. So like beer is from barley and grains and it's considered malt beverage. Beer below like 5% is beer. Above that it's called malt beverage.
okay.
Federally
I didn't know that.
federally red tape. So
Is that the only difference between a malt beverage and a beer is percentage?
is the name, yeah.
Okay.
Is the legal designation.
So malt liquor is just beer with a higher percent.
Right.
Yeah, so I've always been shamed for malt liquor as, the trashy.
As you should be.
Yeah, but to that, anything that's fruit based is a wine, and then honey based is obviously mead.
Okay, so they're in the difference. Okay.
Yeah, and then there's different, like he was saying, but the alcohol volumes. There's different designations on what kind of wine, what kind of mead.
So barley, grains, beer, fruits, wine, honey, mead.
Basically.
yeah, pretty much.
That's a pretty succinct way to describe it. All right. So what we're going to do is you brought some different ones for us to try, and because I've never had a mead in my life, and I'm pretty stoked to try it out, to be honest.
Well, it's kind of going through. In 2015, we purchased our 8 acres in Saline County, and that's where the Meadery is located at.
Okay.
It started. That was also the same year that Saline County went wet.
Oh, well, that worked out well.
Thank you, Saline County, for
Finally getting with the times.
getting with it.
Now,
And I was sitting there twiddling my fingers and going,
Well,
"Yes, this is going to be
in
great."
fairness to Saline County, they were the exclusive meth provider for many years, so they had their own thing going. They just opened it up a little more now.
That is absolutely correct. So now I'm there, so we're going to take it even further. But ultimately, right around 2016, obviously, I started wanting to create the Meadery. So I got it LLC. That was when it was founded.
Mm-hmm.
But my day job is not with the Meadery. It's actually working in IT. And so I started the TTB process. And obviously, it took me about 5 years. The Meadery officially got all of its licenses from the TTB, the federal, the ABC.
So it's quite a process to obtain that.
Process is a very, very good word for that.
Yeah. In other words, it's a bunch of bullshit you
Yeah.
got to go through. Is that what you're telling me?
I drank my fair share of mead during the process.
They're going to make you work for it. That's
Yeah.
for sure.
But you can make this at home like you can beer, right?
Oh, absolutely. And that's actually being in the beer club at Central Arkansas Fermenters and just talking to people, and so these bottles that are here in front of you, unfortunately, I usually use flip top. And on my flip top, the carrier that has the glass, so I'm waiting on those. So they're on like back order for like 2 or 3 months. But the reason I went to flip top is because I want people to make their own mead. Especially, I tell people that making mead is the easiest thing to do. But it's the hardest thing to master because there's so many different ways.
So many variables.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I mean, I would have to think not only percentages of what the ingredients are, but temperatures, time in, all of those different things, the aging
Type of honey.
Man, when I would go to Theron's house, like in my younger 20s, it looked like he had a.
You went to Theron's house in your younger. What? What? I'm kidding.
Theron have been friends for years.
Don't ask too many
Before Patrick existed.
Right.
But his house would look like he was running like a science laboratory with all the different. Well, he's beer making.
So I have to admit, I've actually tried my hand at making mead. So I've actually got a couple of bottles that I've actually made, or gallon.
Where are they at?
Well, it was a learning thing. I've actually got 2 that's been sitting there for a year that I actually haven't pulled out. So they've just been sitting there, remaining with that jig on top, whatever it's called, that's supposed to keep the bugs out.
Okay.
Well, and that's one thing that a lot of people shy away from making mead is because they just think that they're doing it wrong. Mead it's not like a beer. It doesn't, in 2, 3, 4 weeks. It's a lot more complex than that. So usually all the meads that I make at the Meadery, no matter how good I am at making it, it still takes about 6 to 8 months before.
For a batch to be ready.
Yeah.
That's a long process.
It didn't take that long to ferment. It just takes that long to mature.
Right.
Think about the wines. At least you didn't have to put it in a cellar for 100 years.
Yeah.
Like this is aged 100
One of the things I
years.
struggle with the clarity. I've noticed the clarity on yours it's like really clear. So where mine are a little bit darker, the longer it sits, the clearer it gets, from my understanding, right?
That is correct. Yeah, all the sediment will fall out.
Mm.
There's some things you can add to it, to clear it out. But I try to keep mine. I do have a filter through it, but ultimately, time is your best
Now,
friend.
on yours, do you back sweeten them or?
So I don't back sweeten. So we start off with one recipe that we ferment all the way out dry, and then from there, like we have our hog's blood. It actually has muscadine grapes added to it, and that's where it gets.
No, you said it right the first time. Muscadine.
Muscadine, I did.
I like that one better. I loved it. Muscadine.
Well, let me pause. What's hog's blood? Is that another
That's
word
one
for
of our-
muscadine, or is that a flavor?
No, it's actually one of our. It's up here. You'll try it.
Okay.
So it's actually our play on a Viking's blood. The
Oh,
Vikings drank a lot of mead, and when they added tart cherries and some different things from their region, sometimes they'd add hops and tree bark. I mean, you name it. But I don't.
they were kind of crazy, weren't they? The Vikings, yeah. They tried everything.
Mm-hmm. They drank a lot of mead. I mean,
a lot.
a lot of.
Well, it takes a lot to conquer.
You'd be surprised how many movies you've watched where they've talked about drinking mead and didn't pay attention to it. Like
Yeah, the
Robin Hood.
medieval one.
Yeah, Robin Hood, Fire Tuck. He made mead.
Yeah.
I remember.
Yeah.
So, go ahead and tell you about the hog's blood because it's the longest descriptive mead that I can probably tell you about. I'm a Razorback fan, so
Okay.
live in Arkansas, kind of went on the play of it. It's a Razorback red color. It uses tart cherries, muscadine, which is a native grape to Arkansas, because I wanted to use something from.
I didn't know that was native to here.
Is
it? Wow.
native
Okay.
grape. Yeah, and so on the bottle, which stinks, it just says grape on it because the federal government, as you know, they regulate everything, and because it's not.
Yeah, they take all the fun out of it.
Yeah, they do, and I'm like, well, so I really would have liked to have said muscadine, however we want to say it, muscadine. But and then it also finishes with ginger because a lot of these meads I've made over and over, and had a lot of people drink it, such as yourselves, and get tasting profiles on them. And, I'm not a real big, I don't like a lot of sweet things. And a lot of people think that mead has to be sweet just because it's made with honey. And I will admit, I've traveled the country drinking a lot of meads, and probably 80% or more all completely so sweet.
They prepare more like a Riesling or something in that regard, a dessert type wine
Yes. Mm-hmm.
versus a more traditional drier palate type beverage.
Yeah, and I have that drier palate. I don't like to scrub my teeth.
I'm with you on that.
I don't like to scrub my teeth after drinking. I'm like, oh my gosh, that's too sweet.
Yeah.
But we'll get into it. That way we can start off and keep going through it. I'll start us off with our traditional. So our traditional was the first mead that I nailed. And from everything on our traditional, everything is built off of that.
Okay, that's kind of like Theron's regular beer.
Yeah.
Yeah, you take the good beer and everything.
Right,
Regular beer, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I have regular mead for you,
Right.
Which is it starts off with a pretty high. It's a 16%.
Okay, great.
So, it starts,
Hey, that's the way I'd like to start. Yeah.
yeah. So it starts off at 16%. Most of your meads, if you went and just picked one off the shelf, and we're the first meadery in the state, so there's only 2 of us here. But if there's over 1,000 meaderies in the United States, so we were one of the last states to get the meadery, which is a meadery. That's why I was like, I've got to open a meadery because people don't know what it is.
Right. Well, I didn't until now.
Well, you're gonna like it even more after today.
No, I'm stoked about it actually.
Well, so the traditional, I just had to hammer it because it is really the hardest to make because it is completely dry and it is a higher alcohol. There's nothing to cover it up.
Mm-hmm.
We use wildflower honey from Arkansas. I was a beekeeper for about 8 years.
You were a beekeeper?
Mhm,
Well,
yeah.
that's fascinating by itself.
Yeah, so and that's in the mead world and going to clubs and stuff. If you're a beekeeper, that is pretty awesome because guess what you have?
Honey.
Yeah. And if you know how to ferment, guess what you're gonna do?
Well, make mead, I
You're
guess.
gonna make mead.
Yeah.
So that's kind of I was like, okay, everything started lining up. Saline County goes wet. I've got the perfect facility to do it. Been beer brewing and winemaking for a really long time. Enjoy doing it. So, that's where it all came from. But on the dry traditional, it's really good for mixes too. So on our ArkansasMeadery.com, if you want to visit our page, we have all of the liquor stores that you can get our meads at. We have recipes. We have mead making tips and guidelines for those that are kind of interested in it.
Yeah.
Of course, all you have to do is Google it, and it's just all over the place. You'll get some bad advice and some good advice.
That's like most things, I think.
The first YouTube video that I ever watched on mead making, I think they added raisins and oranges to it.
Wow, that sounds odd.
And if you understand the reason behind it, it's like, okay, they didn't know better. Whenever you're mead making, honey has a high sugar content,
Yeah.
but it does not have a lot of nutrients in it. So therefore, when yeast is, whenever it's eating all the sugars, it's kind of like if I gave you a box of chocolate and you ate a lot of chocolates, eventually you're really excited, but eventually your body's just gonna, or drinking a lot of caffeine or
I
coffee.
think it's going to be enough.
You're
Yeah.
going to be like, oh, this is not good. And so that's kind of some neat things about that a lot of people don't know about mead versus like beer making and wine making is you do want to give it nutrients. And so there are, you can visit different beer stores or, there's nutrients that you can put in it when you're making it. So
Yeah.
people that have never made it before, that's one of the things that you can add to it. You can add yeast nutrients to help make it where it doesn't. 'Cause it used to take years. They used to say, oh, it takes me 2 years to make.
Yeah.
Well, it does, but if you add yeast nutrients, it keeps the yeast healthy and
Then it can speed the process
they can
along.
speed the process up. Yeah, so not getting off track, but I'm going to let you guys talk and I'm going to open up a bottle of.
All right. So you've been trying your hand at some mead for a little bit.
Yeah, I came across some YouTube channels. I was like, oh, that looks fun. And then the problem is you buy a kit and you're like, you see like 20 different flavors or mix or way to make it. You're like, oh, I want to try that. And then obviously, you spent like $200 on stuff. You're like, okay, now which one do I pick? I actually tried honey and maple syrup.
Mm.
And then I tried the blackberry and then just regular honey by itself.
Interesting. Okay.
I made a blackberry mead myself about 20 years ago
Yeah.
when I first got into home brewing, and it's still in my closet.
It's still aging?
It's still aging because it needs a little more time. We'll just say that.
Okay. It may never get open, is what you're saying.
I open a bottle about once a year, have a little sip. I'm like, nah, I need some more time.
I was going to say, do you have an estimated crack date?
No. No, probably about the time I die and they're cleaning out my house. Like, what the hell is this?
I'm going to pour it over your grave.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll be great. That's a good
You
idea.
can always cook with it.
No, I guess you could.
Yeah, I didn't think of that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's finally gotten to the point where it's not terrible.
It's like the people with pot. Now they want to cook with their pot too. We have a friend that has butter with pot in it. Y'all try to cook with your drinks.
Well, yeah, I could see that. I could see how that would work and create a
Hey, some people put wine when they're
that's often
playing or
used.
whatever it is.
Sorry to make all the noise over here.
No, it's all right. They love it. They like crackle sound. That's what they tell me.
Opening up the little sample. I don't want to pour you guys too much. You know?
No, that's fine. That's great.
When I go to liquor stores and I'm giving samples, I have to start off with the small ones.
Yeah.
So everybody wants to drink more and more. So this right here is our flip top bottles. For those that you can see it.
Yeah, that's a cool bottle,
We
too.
love these bottles. We've been using them for 2 years. So the Meadery been in business since September 2021. And I think that year I sold like 4 or 5 cases. And I think last year we sold over 150 cases.
Wow, that's awesome. That's great, man.
Yeah, our big go-to, believe it or not, even in Arkansas, is the Renaissance Festival that's in Hot Springs.
Oh, I can see that. That makes perfect sense. Yeah.
It's funny because usually they'll run about 15,000 people to the Renaissance Festival in 2 days. And then we're coming up in March 1st and 2nd in Hot Springs, they'll have the Vikings Festival. The Vikings Festival usually has about 5,000 people, and they'll drink about just as much mead.
Yeah, well, they're crazy. They're Viking people.
They are crazy. But this is our traditional. I like to start off people especially if they've never had mead before. I start them off with a traditional. I tell them it is going to have a bite to it
Yeah.
because mead is not like a wine. A wine is a little bit kind of easier to drink. It just, especially, but all wines kind of taste very similar. This one right here is going to be dry. It's going to be the high 16%. So if anything, I tell people to remember that, what this tastes like.
Mhm.
Because if you taste this and get it locked into your brain, then all meads
Makes
going forward, you'll be like, okay, I picked that up. I picked that up. I know what we're in for. And then from there, a lot of our 12%, 14% meads kind of vary in sweetness. It's going to have a little bit of hopefully you'll be able to pick up the honey from it. Again, we use a wildflower honey from Arkansas. We have a beekeeper that we get all of our honey from, and we probably go through about 55 gallons of honey a month.
Yeah, that one's spicy.
Yeah,
It
it's
is
got a little
spicy.
bit. So that right there is kind of the reason I bring this is because it's honey and water fermented all the way out.
Yeah.
And that's it. Now it's going to have a little bit of a bite.
More like a base.
It is very much. And
Yeah.
so the neat thing, the reason why I wanted to go instead of just like a 14%, I wanted to go with a 16% because number one, it's harder to make.
Mm-hmm.
And number two, it allows you to mix it.
Mm-hmm.
It allows you to mix it with a lot
Mix
of
it down and still have a good content.
And I've had
content.
people mix this with ginger ale and be like, ooh, that's one.
Yeah, it's spicy.
Oh, I bet it would be good with ginger ale. That carbonation.
Yeah, that's interesting. I like it. It's
Yeah.
interesting.
So, and then from there, has a lot of the different varieties we took the traditional after the first year, obviously if you name the different fruits and spices that are out there, you can obviously, my list is like over 1,000 long because you can mix kind of like we were talking about. On the Meadery scale, back in home brewing, we can do some pretty wild stuff. But when you go to scale it to kind of commercial size, then you're like, I don't have that many strawberries. I don't have that many blackberries. So a lot of it becomes, if you're using a lot of real fruit, it becomes more specialized as something you want to put in the bottle to share. And so I have some pretty amazing stuff, but on our line that we actually put out to liquor stores, I had to make sure that we could produce it in quantities.
Right. Mass produce.
Yeah. But I was sitting there, what you'll find on the next one, and I'm actually in the midst of bottling a lot, about 55 gallons of it, which is actually smaller than I did last year. I did a 150 gallon limited release of our bourbon barrel aged mead.
Okay.
So what I did is I took our traditional and I put it on in bourbon barrels. I used a Wilderness Trail barrel, and then I also used some Rocktown Distillery bourbon barrels. So if you've never done that as a beer, obviously beer and wine, I kind of thought, well, mead really pairs good with anything you put it at. So the next mead that you're going to try is our bourbon barrel aged. And believe it or not, it actually grabs some of the bourbon out of the barrel and ups the percentage. So it goes from a 16% to 18%.
So the barrel is so permeated and soaked with actual bourbon.
Yep.
That it flows into the mead.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's wild. Yeah.
Yeah. And last year, went on a tour in Kentucky and picked up a Four Roses barrel. So
Oh, wow.
I'll be filling that up. And so and the bourbon barrel that you'll be tasting is over a year old. So
Okay.
it's traditional. I think I made it probably in 2023. So what you'll find is there's those releases that are about 6 months to a year and a half that are old. And obviously, if they're in the liquor stores, they're going to be sitting on the shelves for a little longer, and you really do want that.
Right. Yeah. To age out a little more even.
Well,
We could burn
on.
trash in a burning barrel. Wonder if that'd be good.
It might be.
I would not recommend aging alcohol in a burn barrel.
Rusty in a rusty
No.
ash
You don't
filled
think so?
barrel.
No, I mean there's somebody that would drink it, but I wouldn't recommend it.
It's probably fortified with iron.
Yeah, the people I know that make wine usually do it like
What about
in some kind of bread bag, like a Hostess, one of those breads. And then break it up and their orange juice from the morning.
most of my
For
friends?
people from jail,
I
basically.
was going to say most of my friends.
You talking
make
about
toilet?
toilet hooch?
Toilet hooch.
well, I don't know if I'd be wanting to drink any of that, but I've heard some pretty interesting stories about people making stuff in bathtubs.
Well, they're pretty creative.
Woo!
I'm sure they found a lot of unique flavor profiles.
So on the bourbon barrel, what you'll notice is it'll taste very similar to the traditional, but it's going to have a little bit more of that bourbon. Who are bourbon drinkers?
Well, I'm familiar with it. Yeah.
Familiar with some bourbon? Well, hand me your tasting song.
Rumor has it I'm not a lady when I drink bourbon.
Well,
Who's spreading the rumors?
I don't know. I don't know.
I'm gonna keep my mouth shut over here.
Yep.
Oh, that's
Hold on. Let me.
Don't want any of them early 20 stories
Your
coming
clip.
back up.
Where's your?
Oh, right here. Sorry.
Okay.
my little queen bee up there for us.
that's actually
Oh, all right. There you go.
So that right there has been aged in bourbon barrels. This one's been aged in there for a little over 9 months. So you're going to be able to get.
Yeah, I can taste that difference.
It doesn't smell as stout as that other one. That other one, you knew it was going to bite.
It's pretty funny. So this one is a little bit sweeter.
It is.
So when we put it in the bourbon barrels,
Definitely taste that bourbon.
and
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
my.
and so believe it or not, the bourbon barrels do pull down because of all the tannins and stuff. It kind of gives you that, I don't know, that mouthfeel.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, that was one of the things I came across when I was looking. You didn't depend on if you didn't do certain berries, if you just did straight. You got to put tannins in it to get a little bit more of the richness from the honey.
That one's good.
Yeah.
That one's really good. I like the first one too, but
Is it
not my speed. But
Yeah.
that second
Well,
one.
this one comes out a little sweeter, a little smoother, and a little stronger flavor profile versus an alcohol profile. Is that accurate? Is that pretty right?
Well, this one, I think, we actually had a little bit more honey on the front end, and then we pulled it off right before it was completely done. So it would have a little bit sweeter,
Okay.
sweeterness.
Finish on it. Yeah.
You get the same alcohol, but we wanted a little bit sweeter.
And that one's 18%, you said?
10%, yeah.
18.
I'm sure mead it's alcohol, so it's the same ethyl alcohol that I've got.
Exactly.
But over time, like these higher alcohol beers have, or I'm going to speak for beer anyway. The higher alcohol beers, and I have made some 16, 17% beers. They have a lot. When you get that high, the yeast produces a lot more of what's called a fusel alcohol. And like when you drink, that's what whiskey is, basically.
Okay.
More or less, when you drink, you get the hot whiskey.
Yeah.
You feel it going. That's a fusel alcohol.
Okay.
You can taste that.
Yeah, and over time, those will mellow out and those will calm down and become smoother. And you won't you can tell that from this is it's a lot smoother.
Right. So, so the time it smooths that down,
Yeah.
that bite a little bit.
Yeah.
Well, that's also a reason you bring up a really good one that I wanted to go to 16 because it just, kind of ballsy like that.
Yeah, I got
sorry.
you. I got you.
But because it is harder and you'll get a lot of that fusel.
No, you can definitely smell potential domestic violence in it. Like, I can.
The next,
Well, I don't want to keep us up, but the next one that we're going to try is our hog's blood.
Okay. And now this one you said had cherries in it that you use?
This one has tart cherries. So a lot of
Tart
people,
cherries, okay.
when I sit there and I didn't bring my hibiscus apple. Sorry.
That's okay.
Son of a bitch.
Maybe there's next time, right?
Yeah, there'll be a next
I
time.
do have a hibiscus apple that we have out in the stores as well, and it has hibiscus and of course apple in it.
Right.
That was actually our.
And hibiscus is a flower, correct?
That is correct.
Yeah.
So it's cider, like cider? Could you call it cider?
No,
No.
I wouldn't call it cider because ciders are made from apples.
Okay.
Now,
Oh, okay.
now here's the thing about meads is, of course, if you mix it with different things, it changes its name. So technically, if you mix mead with apple juice and ferment it out, it's called a sizer.
Okay.
So it changes names.
Now I know the most famous cider, Dixon cider. Y'all are familiar with that one? You've had it before, I guess?
I haven't.
I told you I wouldn't tell stories.
I've had it. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You know people that have had it.
Yeah. That's correct.
I mean, I've never had it.
You never tried it?
Yeah,
I got
it
you. I got
wasn't,
you. Wasn't
my
for you.
flavor.
Yeah, no, the profile's a little different. Yeah.
Yeah, our hibiscus apple we came out with, I actually made a couple different variations of it, and someone was asking me for a sweeter mead, and I'm like, okay. So it was actually our sweetest mead. That it's still the sweetest that we have out. Not overly sweet. I could still drink it and not go, ooh, that's too sweet.
Yeah.
But it's got that floral, like a hibiscus flower,
Mm-hmm.
and the apple. I actually use apple juice. You were asking about sweeteners earlier. I don't back sweeten with honey, and a lot of people do. Not that I can't. So if I was to make a sweet mead, I can back sweeten. I usually just try to start off with the amount of sugar on the front end because I want it to go through that fermentation process and kind of.
And keep it all level and even there.
Yeah, I mean that's one of the things I was struggling with. It was you do it to get all the sugar out of it, but then if it comes too dry, then you back sweeten whether you put honey in it or put you could put sugar in it, but the fermentations can still keep going with real sugar. So you have to do a baked sugar. Can't think of what the
Like stevia.
Yeah,
Stevia, yeah.
and it doesn't feed the until you kill the.
Yeah, and there's different. There's of course, obviously, there's so many different chemicals that you can add, even from a commercial level to stop fermentation process.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, it's very well encouraged, especially when you're dealing with bottles.
Yeah.
Especially in the wine world, they'll always add sulfites to it to keep it fresh.
It'll still keep building pressure in the bottle.
Yeah.
Interesting story. I was driving one time to my brother's house in Austin, and this is back in the 2000s, late 2000s, still making wines and things. And I get about 30 minutes from his house. I'm like, wow, is there a bread factory around here somewhere? Wow, that smells wonderful. And I realized that I had a few bottles that blew up in the back of.
Oh, no.
And so, they stayed in the refrigerator. If they're in the refrigerator, they're fine. But, on a 7-hour trip
That
to
heat.
Austin,
It
Yeah.
expands.
30 minutes, it almost made it there. And,
Oh, man.
but it smelled wonderful.
Yeah.
But immediately had to go to a car wash and clean.
Yeah.
It was but yeah, that's one of the things when you're home brewing and making wines is you have to watch out for bottle bombs. You definitely don't want. You keep them in the closet. Yeah, they're considered bottle.
So when they blow up, do they like just crack or do they like explode, like bust?
Oh, they'll send shards of glass through drywall.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's completely.
So you have to
dangerous.
be responsible
Oh, if you're home
when you're making it.
if you're
yeah.
home, the first thing the first thing you're going to learn, there's kind of a couple different things. In other words, keep everything clean.
How many people have died from exploding bottles in the home brewing?
Meth labs still win.
No,
Don't
Meth
worry.
Labs definitely win.
Meth labs
But-
still win.
But I was just curious, is that something that happens? If it does it happen?
I'm sure it does. I mean,
It's probably more just
Well, someone not paying
accidents,
attention.
not death.
I've had a coworker of mine, and obviously TikTok is going to end or yes or no. But anyway,
Who knows?
he says, I found everything that I needed to know about making meat on TikTok, and I'm like, I'm sure you have.
Yeah,
And
of
I
course
was like,
you did.
But don't forget, and he's a coworker of mine. I was like, but don't forget, I'm here to help. And I was telling about airlocks and all these different things, and he said, I got all these different liquor bottles that I'm gonna put the meat in whenever I get done with it. oh, awesome. If you have any questions, let me know. But be careful, because the one thing he was wanting to do is just do the balloon. So a lot of people put a balloon over the. I'm like, no, spend the money, go get a $2 airlock.
Yeah,
Really,
that's what I called. Yeah,
It's not that expensive. Well, in meat making, obviously he thought it was done fermenting after two or 3 weeks, and it was for the most part. But down to that last 10%, he didn't know, and so he bottled it all, put it in these really, really expensive, nice liquor bottles that probably had bourbon or whiskey in them. And he had like a 13, 14-year-old daughter that came home from school one day, like, Dad, something happened in the kitchen. Apparently he had it up on top of his cabinet, and it sent shards, and it was the thick glass.
Oh, wow.
So I thought it was done fermenting. I was like, nope.
No, TikTok didn't tell you that, did it? That's something.
Yeah, so that was kind of one of those. I was like, all you had to do was ask me. I could have told you it was, even though beer is usually done after 2 or 3
That's
weeks.
the fun part of learning.
You can still, if it doesn't, a lot of people don't know how to measure it. The sugars, is it done fermenting?
Yeah.
How much residual sugars? There's some tools out there like hydrometry.
Do you still beekeep or
No, so-
not anymore?
So the same year that I actually, fought with the TTB to get the licensing for the meadery, was the same year we had like a snowstorm in Birch here in Arkansas.
I remember that.
And
Yeah.
if you're a beekeeper, you know what that does to the bees. So the bees usually around February start building out their new bees to come. New bees. That was funny. But what happens is they'll go out there to the brood that are in the hive, and they won't ball up. So when they ball up, like in the middle of winter, like especially tomorrow night or coming when there's going to be 15 degrees, they ball up and they're able to stay warm, and that's how they're able to survive a winter. But when the spring comes through, they actually go out to that brood where the queen has laid the larva, and they'll keep it warm and draw it out and make it a new bee. Well, I think I had 7 of 11 hives that I lost that year.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and a lot of beekeepers lost a lot of hives that year. But if you lose the hive, you can't just leave the boxes around, because the boxes will get moths in them and different things, just completely destroy a hive. So you have to spend the money either to repopulate it, which is about $150, if not more, to get what they call a nuke box. You can order them. They sometimes come from Georgia, Alabama. And there are places around here that'll actually create their own nuke boxes. But at $150 for 7 hives, I was like, well, I got to hang this up for right now.
I got a nuke box.
Well, so ultimately, and there's beekeeper
Drop the
clubs.
bomb on you, baby.
There's beekeeper clubs here in Arkansas, and so I'm very well friends with all of them. Arkansas, there's an Arkansas Honey Festival that I go to and attend every year. That's at Bemis, and
Bemis
Bee Farms. If you've never heard of them, they're they're on Asher, but they're south of Little Rock, and they'll have a Arkansas Honey Festival, and they bring people out, let you taste the different types of honey. They usually do some type of like a mead. You need to get your meads turned in, because they usually will do like a $50
a prize
for like homebrewers. Yes,
cool.
do a mead contest.
Well, so I always try to do stuff, and I'll do it once, and it might come out great. Then the next time, I'm like, I think I got it, and then like there'll be crap the rest of the time. It's just because put so much effort the first time.
So
watching every little
then
step.
what we're really needing you to do is reach into your closet, bring out that mead that you said that.
Yeah, it's been aging for about 20 years now.
I bet it's ready. So the next mead, other than the hibiscus apple that we made, was our hog's blood. Obviously, I was talking about the hog's blood earlier. It's a play on a Viking's blood. It's made with tart cherries, and it's made with muscadine, which is the native grape from
So this one will be sweet.
It's not going to be terribly sweet, but it is going to. It's going to be. I call it a.
Here, why don't you put? Can I?
You want to upgrade?
Yeah, you're just pissing my liver off.
You want to upgrade to the big.
It's a hobby if you make it, but if you don't make it, then you're an alcoholic. Whatever. I mean, people don't call y'all alcoholics, do they?
Maybe functioning alcoholics is a better term, because we have to get up and go to work to drink more.
Yeah, to afford to drink more. That's right.
Drink more.
I do have like on the side of our bottles, like if it's a dry or medium or sweet.
Oh, you got a little
Yeah,
chart there to kind of get to it with.
And for all the mead makers and winemakers, this is 1.000. This is 1.010, 1.020, 1.03.
So what did you say the percent on this one was?
Oh yeah, I got it.
Do what?
We did 16 and we did 18. This one,
This one's 12. So this is going to be a lot easier drinking. Did I get you?
Yeah, you got me.
And if I didn't get you enough, let me know. We can.
Oh, that's super smooth.
Yeah. So it finishes with the ginger. So we kept making it.
Now that you say that, I sense, I feel that ginger. I do taste that.
Everybody likes to finish with the ginger.
With or what?
Whatever preposition you want to use, I got you.
So this one right here, that ginger has that finish. So it's probably the most well balanced mead that we've made.
It's what I would call this is easy to drink.
It is.
I don't know. I feel like DV was. That's the domestic violence one, the second one. That was pretty smooth.
Bourbon barrel.
No,
Yeah.
Bourbon barrel was smooth, but I'm just saying this one doesn't have a lot of bite in it like the others. You have more of an alcohol bite in the others that was more akin to a spirit to me
More of a dessert.
than this is.
One.
I wouldn't.
It is
I
smooth.
wouldn't consider. So most of the
More
time,
like a Chardonnay.
yeah,
Maybe?
most of the times on meads, I usually only pour 4 or 5 ounces is what I'm normally drinking at because it's a higher alcohol.
Mhm.
But that one, I mean, I've known people to go through the bottle, in less than 30 minutes, and I'm like, wow, this one. Yeah, the bourbon barrel is probably our most famous at the Vikings Festival because it is that higher alcohol.
Yeah, because and it has that feel. It has that spirit.
It's real.
This year in the fall, we came out with our latest mead, which is an Ozark Elder. It's an elderberry mead,
Okay.
and it when we're making it in the meadery, it smells the best.
Didn't they refer to elderberries in Monty Python?
Yeah.
I thought so.
I thought we were going geriatric. I don't know.
I think of the line.
Yeah, something along your father's.
Yeah, it smells about right.
Yeah, something like that. Something about a goat and elderberries. I don't remember exactly, but
Yeah, so the Ozark Elder, believe it or not, we were trying to come up with a name of it, and ChatGPT did a wonderful job on this one.
oh, really? They did it.
Well, we were coming up and we were like, okay, what's in Arkansas? What can we use? And literally it just spit out, Ozark Elder, and we're like, that sounds really awesome.
It does sound good.
Going forward, we really always want to we're trying to use more of Arkansas names like our Hog's Blood. We hadn't gotten to the Buffalo River Float root beer yet.
I think that's brilliant, actually, because it's in the name of your whole business. So why not?
I mean, I pretty much took the whole state whenever we went
What's
to
the bird? What's our bird?
the
Mockingbird? I can get some mockingbird shit or something. Spicy.
You could. I mean, yeah.
We got a feather from a mockingbird. We grinded it down.
So this one is our Ozark Elder. It has elderberry blossom, and then it also has raspberry. The raspberry we had to add to it because we kept making it and it was too sweet.
Okay, I like raspberry though.
So we found that the raspberry just pulled that tartness.
Yeah.
Sling County, you have a place called the Moon there. Have you ever been to the Moon?
Into the moon.
It's out in Bauxite. I don't know. I just think the moon, something.
What, you talking about the paper moon? What?
No, not the paper moon.
Yeah, I know.
No. Are they still open?
No, yeah, maybe.
Maybe, I don't know.
I think so. Yeah.
I haven't drove by there in years.
Well,
So that one you're going to get a lot of the that elderberry. It's the blossom.
yeah.
So we did it with elderberry, and then once we added the blossom, like I said, this smells the best one.
This one's real bright. It feels light and bright to me.
Oh,
It does. It does. It really does.
I was pretending you were talking to me.
Mm.
He was, but you're just looking at us.
Yeah, no, I was,
Right.
Because he was hyper.
yeah,
I was
that's
thinking of you, but
a nice
I
profile.
lie to myself every day.
The neat thing about meads is you just name it.
This is a good one to get hammered into the morning. This feels like a Sunday morning getting hammered. That
brunch.
That's one that
yeah.
you could easily forget you're drinking alcohol.
Oh,
That
most
one
of them you can.
yeah.
yeah, it's almost has a juice soda profile. I mean, it's really really pleasant. It's got a great flavor.
Elderberry's good for you.
I was gonna say I hear that in commercials a lot when you get sick. So like this has got elderberry.
Yeah, it's got zinc in it and got a couple of different things. I can't think of it.
Zinc is really good too for cold. So if you get a cold, drink
Zinc
this.
helps your body absorb other vitamins.
I have had though in liquor stores when I'm giving tastings, I hear everything, right? And it's quite funny. Some people most of the time they love elderberry, but every once in a while you'll get those that are like, ooh, elderberry, because it brings them back to some medicine. If you think about I was wanting to make a really bright cherry mead, and every time I tried to do it, I'm like
cough syrup.
I was like, I can't do it.
It'd probably be real popular. Just call it lean.
Yeah.
Yeah, just about every cherry flavored beer I've ever had just reminds me of cough syrup.
Just listen, I swear to
You're
God,
away with it.
I swear to God, bottle it, call it Arkansas lean. You'll sell the hell out of it. You'll sell
Also
it.
cherry cokes. I hate cherry cokes. Anything.
It
I'm not a
probably
big
is similar to that in a way, yeah.
Well, and our hog's blood has cherry in it.
But it's tart cherry.
Correct.
Yeah.
And so that was another thing that the federal government doesn't let you do, the descriptions of cherries. So I couldn't put tart cherry.
Oh my God.
So some people, if they go to a liquor store and reading it, they're going, oh, it has cherry in it. They're going, I mean, I'm not really, I like cherries, but I don't like that whole cough syrupy cherry.
Right.
Every time I tried to make it, I kept getting that. And I was like, okay, I'm just going to move on.
You tried black cherry?
Black cherry is really good. Getting my hands on a lot of it is hard to do.
The blacker the cherry, the sweeter the juice. I'm just
Berry.
You know, so, I mean, I really enjoyed it. I mean, do you have one that you've actually tried that was like, what was one of the wildest things that you've ever tried to flavor profile? You know, I've seen some like distilleries try to take Mountain Dew and make some spirits out of it.
I've got a good friend. So obviously I try to get as many mead makers that I can get with. And I have some friends that come to the meadery and help, come up with different flavors, and we mess around. Of course, we're usually getting a little tanked at the
my
end.
favorite fruit is kiwi. Could kiwi be done?
So I've got kiwi. So, I mean, there's so many kiwi, coconut. I've got one that's
coconut.
I'm looking at maybe even some rum barrels.
Oh yeah, that'd be interesting.
I do. Well, now that you say that, I do like, what's the one white frozen drink that you can get on a cruise?
A pina colada.
That does have rum.
What about
I like that
what
one.
about blueberry?
So blueberry is definitely one. Blueberry. So what happens on blueberry is a lot like strawberries. It's very, you don't pick it up. It's very
Hard to pick up the flavor profile.
Exactly.
Of it.
It's really hard to pick up those flavor profiles.
It really is. It's more subtle.
Yeah,
than people
in
think.
beer anyway, when I've used blueberry or strawberry, I use the fruit and it gives it the color, but then I've had to back flavor it with
some additives.
with the extract, with the fruit extracts, or else you're just not getting the
Not
flavor
gonna get
from
enough out of it.
Peach is a lot like that too.
Peach is very light
See
as well.
that? It's super light. Yeah.
But yeah, like blueberries, some of the blueberries that I've done, I'm like, don't care much for that. But then there's a blueberry vanilla that I've done.
Oh, that's probably good.
That sounds good.
And
What about
so
like figs, currants, things like that?
you pile it up. Put them all in there, the more the merrier.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's so many different flavor profiles that you can get. I came up with one. It was I called it the honey bun, and it had like bourbon vanilla. It had some little bit of like a cinnamon bun.
Oh yeah.
I ended up using some malt dextrin for it to give it it's kind of a, of course, obviously if you can't have milk, you can't drink my mead, but it gave it that body.
Okay.
Like you were having
Gotcha.
it. I didn't want it to be a cinnamon bun.
Like orange
So
cream.
maltodextrin is like a milk fat,
Milk, yeah.
basically.
Correct. Exactly.
Okay, yeah.
And you can add it to a lot. I mean, when I'm drinking a Guinness, that's what I think of. I'm like,
So it gives it kind of a thicker body.
thick.
Yeah, and it's basically an unfermentable sugar.
Okay. I'm
No,
made of maltodextrin, clearly. And, thicker
Yeah.
profile.
Well, I don't want to keep us from moving on
Yes,
because
no.
I'm figuring that we'll want to go back through all.
We're asking too many questions, aren't we?
No, I love questions. Y'all are not asking enough, really.
Do you sleep with socks on? I'm just wondering.
with the
Good.
food
I have a coworker that asked that too, and I don't understand why.
Why they asked you that?
Yeah,
I don't know. I just
It's
thought
a
it
weird question, isn't it?
switched shit
very
up.
weird.
Yeah.
I mean,
Kind of makes you uncomfortable coming from a guy. From a girl, not necessarily, but.
Yeah, it's pretty
Maybe you don't
uncomfortable.
want the next line of questioning.
So, kind of going in the, we call this Buffalo River Float. Obviously, the reason I was trying to
And that's this one right here.
and I brought those.
Hey.
Y'all are good to take those home.
I'm showing the.
I know, but it's reverberate when you pick it up if you're going to do that. Because it goes, whoa.
Do that again. Was it?
Oh. Yeah.
So the
Not doing it again.
Buffalo River Float is, I consider it one of our, like a session mead because it is a lower alcohol, but it is still made from our base.
Yeah.
And what we do is kind of like we use a root beer, kind of an extract for it.
Mm-hmm.
And carbonated, slightly carbonated, and a can it, and it's going to go out. We don't even have it in liquor stores yet, but we do have a full line of, we call them cocktails.
But it's really a smart name because, float has a dual meaning in this case. You float the river or you have a root beer float, right?
Correct.
So that's pretty clever.
Well, and I'm glad you said that because I'm trying to come up with these clever names like the Hog's Blood.
Yeah.
It is red, and we are from Arkansas, so.
Yeah, no, that is a good name.
And I'm not a Viking, but I am a Razorback fan.
Yeah,
so.
no, I think that's a great name. So I'm intrigued to try this because I'm a root beer fan, to be honest with you.
So this one is going to be somewhat still. Still meaning it's not highly carbonated.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to, a lot of times when you go to festivals, they do not have any carbonation in a lot of the root beers. Not only that, I get into what's called bubble tax. I won't bore you guys with that, but
Oh, I know all about it.
I bet you do. It's even worse for wine. It's I don't know. They need to do away with it.
So in other words, when you add carbonation, it bumps your tax rate up.
It puts it in a different deshign so they can get more taxes on it.
Yeah, so the government can
Yes,
get more
exactly,
money.
yes.
Yeah,
That's what it is.
it's a money grab.
America.
Yep. They just want more money, right? But this one is going to have kind of the best way I can describe it that I've been described and I pick up on it is, have you ever remember those root beer
the candies?
The barrels.
As soon as I taste it,
No,
that's what it reminds me.
This is fantastic.
Yeah.
I mean, that's,
and that's 7.2, 7.5. Around there.
and I don't know anything about processing or anything, but I wonder if this had just a little bit of maltodextrin in it, if it would give more of that
I can
ice
have
cream
anything
float.
you want.
Well, I'm just saying for float purposes, if it had that little thicker, but I mean, the flavor is just phenomenal.
Well, and it's funny you say that. So there is, obviously in the mead world and any type of world when you get into drinks, there's a lot of extracts out there. There's a lot of good companies that do it. And the one that you're probably talking about that I've used before is called a heavy cream.
Okay, well, yeah, something like that kind of balance it a little bit, because the flavor on that is, I mean, it is root beer. I mean, it is a good root
Makes
beer.
you want to grab some ice cream.
Yeah,
It does. That's what I'm saying. If I could just get that little part in it too,
Because I would drink this with
man. Oh yeah, no, I would drink that on any
I
day.
don't like
That right there, I would drink any day of the week.
Yeah, so we're gonna this is currently in a 16 ounce black can, but we're gonna be putting in a 12 ounce. 12 ounce silver cans, selling them in 4-packs, probably about $11 range.
Yeah. Well, that's a great because it's light, it's refreshing, and if you like root beer, I mean, it's damn good. I mean, it's a great profile on that.
Well, and the neat thing about it is this opens up a canning line for us because ultimately being in bottles, that's the one thing you can't do is float down the Buffalo with a bottle.
You're right. They don't like that.
Or being on and I frown on it too, especially even around the pool. Like, oh, keep the meat up there, guys.
Yeah.
But this is going to be one of those things, kind of even if you can't notice, but even on the label, that really truly is the Buffalo.
Right. I see that. That's very cool. Yeah.
Anybody want any more?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I'll take just one more.
I'm sending you guys home with a 4-pack of
Well, thank you. Because I will enjoy that.
and also a bottle of some of the mead.
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile,
So what recipe are we going to come up with next, guys? Girls, I'd like to definitely come away with
You want
some ideas.
I think that to me, what I don't see here is something that would be along the caramel profile. Something of that type of Werther's type, buttery, caramely type flavor. Might be an interesting
Butterscotch, yo.
Yeah, something could be like that.
Now, what are we going to call it?
Well, that's a great question. I'd have to think about that, but I guarantee you,
Got a lot of listeners on here, right?
Absolutely. And I'm sure they could come up with some ideas and they probably have ideas on different flavor ideas, different all kinds of things. So feel free, message us up or message Tony here at the Arkansas Meadery and say, hey, I was watching you guys on Patrick and the People, and here's an idea I have. And I'm sure he would welcome that.
Absolutely. Well, there's also, the community of mead making is quite interesting and fun. And I know that Stone's Throw has even done some things before in the past where a lot of the brewers would bring their recipe, and if they won, you guys would remake it. And I welcome the same thing. There's a lot of mead makers out there.
I think that's one of the great things about this type of industry versus so many other industries out there is that most industries push people away that want to get in. They don't want you in. They're very proprietary. This is one of those industries where they're like, no, come on in. Let us show you how you do it. We'll help you get started. We'll show you the way to make it good, and that's kind of cool.
We have a lot of snatches in our world.
Well, it's one of those, it's a pet peeve of mine. If I go somewhere, and I say, what kind of hops are in this? And they say, oh, I can't tell you that. That's recipe. I'm like, okay, I'm not drinking any more of your beer. I mean, I'll tell you, I use what yeast I use. I use the D47 yeast.
Well, I mean, look,
I put that in my car.
Yeah, no, that's what I wrote it on. It's a hybrid. No, I think that the ingredients are secondary to the process. Anyone can have the ingredients, but the process is the critical component that makes those ingredients work. So even if I had this exact same ingredients as you and I go start, it's going to come out different than what you do because of the different variables along the road. So it's not really a competition because I'm not going to do it the same.
And it's that way with all professions too, even in IT,
Yeah, well, probably true.
Yeah. To be like, well, I could have done that. And I'm like,
but you didn't.
But it would have taken you 3 hours.
Right. No, I like IT. I'm one of those
And
guys.
to that point, there's a lot of breweries out there, like big ones, like Avery or Dogfish Head. They put their recipes on their website.
They don't care.
They
put them on the bottle sometimes.
Yeah,
they don't care.
Like, if you want to make this a homebrew recipe, here you go. Here's how you do it.
Yeah.
Because you're not going
to produce it the way we did.
It's not going to be. It's not going to be that beer. It's going to be the beer that you like, but it's not going to be their beer.
That's right. And so, I think it's wiser because the more people you bring in, even if they don't end up long-term being makers, they're going to be enjoying it and part of the community. And that's, I think, what makes this special is there is a community that's involved, whether it's beer, whether it's mead. There's a community of people that love and have a passion for this and share that passion.
Well, no,
that's cool.
It gets that type of stuff. Because I know the liquor store I go to only has the Vikings blood. That's the only brand it has. So I guess if your store doesn't have these, ask your store to get these in.
Yeah.
But these are, I mean, it's great because I would have never tried it had I not been watching a lot of YouTube. Like, well, let me try it before I try making it because I don't have nothing compared to. And I really like that. Well, okay, let me see if I can do it. And I may.
So you feel inspired by it.
Yeah. I mean, and then had I known you before, I'd have probably been blowing your ear up going, okay, what do I do here? I mean, did I put this enough? And you'd be like, God, dude, shut up.
Be knocking.
You're like, hey,
like that.
Taste this. Does this taste right? What'd you do to it? I don't know. It tasted. I ain't tasting it.
Hey, you said you love me, right?
Yeah.
Well, one thing that I didn't really hit on too much is our honey. We use wildflower honey. That's from Arkansas. But there are different variations of honey, whether it be, there's in all the different places, you have clover honey, obviously, but you have different honeys, Tupelo honey, which is a really good honey. Orange.
Have you tried that? Was it Say Legit honey?
I have not.
What about motor honey?
I haven't heard of that one.
Yeah, don't try it.
Well, but orange blossom, obviously you're going to be pulling in some of that orange zest.
Oh yeah,
so,
that's interesting.
And so
I didn't realize there were so many different honey profiles, to be honest with you. I had no idea.
I assume just the area that the bees are in, right?
Yeah, they're going to pick up the flowers and whatever they're...
Right.
So yeah, there's that honey alone is going to change a mead. So
yeah,
all these different traditionals, again, you can't put them all together.
So again, even the same recipe, you may use a different honey, and that may completely change the flavor and profile.
The yeast is going to change it, the water is going to change it, and the honey. So even if you use those 3 basic ingredients, it's going to change no matter where you make it, how you make it.
Yeah. Do you use different types of yeast or Or do you just use the same yeast, or do you try different types of yeast to get different flavors out of it?
I've tried different yeast, and the problem that I have is different yeast pull out different flavor profiles and esters and stuff. So I went with a yeast that was very reproducible.
And I could replicate easily.
Replicate easier. EC1118 is a really good yeast. I've used it at the homebrew level, but whenever I started going commercial, I started getting some. It just didn't play to what I would probably say.
Too big of a.
It has a lot of esters in it, and so D47 is very clean, and obviously with me doing a higher alcohol, 16%. It's a very forgiving yeast to get to that high level.
Yeah, and get that clarity that you want and whatnot. That makes sense. Yeah. Well, man, this has been fascinating. I've learned a lot. Number one, about mead. I've learned that I like mead. I didn't know. So now I know. And number two, now I know I'm interested in having more and trying more and thinking about different flavors and things, because it's kind of a fascinating thing to be involved in.
It is quite interesting, quite fun. Obviously, Theron can say, sometimes when you get to the commercial level, you have good days and bad days. I haven't had too many bad days because it's not my day job. This is one of the things that I love to do, and go out there. I like more than anything putting together different recipes.
Yeah.
And just kind of come up with different flavor profiles. Now,
so if people want to interact, they want to find out, they want to learn more, they go to ArkansasMeadery.com. Is that?
They go to our website. We're really interactive with all of our Instagram, Facebook. I mean, we've got the TikTok and all the fun.
All the social medias. You can just put in Arkansas Meadery.
Arkansas Meadery will be out there.
And you guys, will communicate. If you have ideas, you can send them to us. You can reach out to them directly. I think it's probably better to just reach out to Tony and his team and talk to them.
We like the tag, so
okay.
Tag you guys, and
we at some point get your own little brew kit that you can sell. I know there's a lot out there, but sometimes it's easier if you went to visit your factory that you could buy it right off the shelf.
Well, and you're absolutely right. I mean, it's just kind of like buying grains directly from Stone's Throw. You guys started that up for the fermenting community.
For the home brewing community? Mm-hmm. I didn't know that. That's cool, man. That's cool.
And so it's kind of neat to be able to do those things. And obviously, I'm buying honey in 55-gallon drums. I go through that about once a month. That's what I'm doing. I have 400.
Tired, huh?
Yeah, I have 150-gallon fermenters and a 290-gallon fermenter. Which obviously I'm keeping them in for quite some time, but they do, but that's what the scale of the meadery is. And we've been doubling every year. So this will be our 4th year in business.
That's awesome, man. Well, hopefully, we're going to help you grow that even more, and, would love to have you back on in the future. As you bring out new flavors, new profiles, new things like that, come on by. Let's talk about it.
Let's do it.
All right, man. Thank you, Theron, for coming in.
Yeah, absolutely.
I appreciate you coming in and do that. Michael, thank you for coming in. Of course, my beautiful bride, Laura, thank you for coming in, my boo. And thank all of you, and we'll see you next time. All right? All right, there you go. So there you have the Arkansas Meadery, and man, how fascinating is it, all the different flavors that they have. And I see that you guys are already sending in some great name suggestions that I'll get over to him. Let's see what a couple of them were here. Let's see. Coda said coffee mead.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah, that does sound good. Jeff said call it Scotty's Brew.
Scotty's
Brew. Yeah, I got it. For the butterscotch one, like little Scotty's. So yeah, all kind of persimmon, Jeff said might be a good flavor. So you guys got lots of great ideas. I'll share those with Tony, and check out the Arkansas Meadery when you get a chance. And also, you can go over to their website and find out which liquor stores they have it at, and they've got all kinds of flavors. So be sure and check that out, man.
Yeah, I have to get mine. Try some.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I gave these guys a little bit to take home and try. Are you a film buff at all? Movie person?
Man, a little bit.
Yeah. What about you, Bundy?
Yeah, I am actually.
Or kind of. Okay, so if you had to guess what you thought the most famous movie quote of all time would be, what do you think it would be?
I mean, say hello to my little friend from Scarface.
That's a great one. That's a good one, man. That's a great guess. That's a great guess. That's not it.
Dying ain't much of a living.
Yeah.
No, that's not. It's a good guess. That's not it. The answer is May the Force be with you.
Oh, I should have been Star Wars is my shit too.
Yeah. May the Force be with you. The most quoted movie quote of all time.
That's good
right
stuff.
there. Yeah. Second, The Wizard of Oz. There's no place like home.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I mean, who hadn't said there's no place like
Right,
home?
sure,
Click
right.
your heels 3 times just for stupidity.
Yeah.
You know. How about this one? Do you remember what movie this is from? I'm the king of the world.
Titanic.
Yeah.
I thought it was Spartacus.
Could have been. But it's Titanic. Yeah, that was number 3. Carpe diem, seize the day, boys. Make your lives extraordinary.
That's the Robin Williams movie. I can't think of the name of it, but
That's good, though. You're good. Dead Poet Society.
yeah, Dead Poet Society.
Yeah. All right. How about this one? Elementary, my dear Watson.
Yep.
Little Sherlock Holmes action there. It's alive. It's alive.
Frankenstein.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah. And it's been used in so many cartoons,
Right.
things like that. I mean, you know, my mom always said life was like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're gonna get.
I love
Run,
that.
Forrest.
Yeah.
I love
There's
that
so many
impersonation.
quotes in that movie. Thank you,
Yeah,
man. There's
yeah.
so many great quotes in that movie. That was just one of those movies that I think everybody loved.
Yeah, dude, for sure.
I love the little Elvis part that's in there.
Yeah.
Man, if you ever get a chance, I found this book in a coffee shop in New Orleans, and I read it the couple of days we were down there. But it's a sequel. It's called Gump and Sons. And
Yeah.
the original author wrote it, and I'd read
Really?
somewhere. I don't know how much truth there is to it, but they'd had the script wrote out and had everything in production, and then 9/11 happened.
Oh
And
wow.
they just thought 9/11 changed so much of the things culturally that
Yeah.
they were going to talk about in the movie that they just scrapped
They
it.
scrapped it.
If you
I-
ever
I
get a
could see
chance,
that.
though, read the book. It's an easy read, like 100 pages. And,
Really?
yeah, it's interesting. It's cool.
I bet
to
it
just
is
see a
interesting.
sequel to the
I
story.
assume that he teams up with what was his name, Bubba.
Yeah.
Bubba Shrimp?
Well, no, Bubba
Bubba
died.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah,
Bubba did die, didn't he?
But actually, in the sequel, he teams up with his son, and they run the Bubba Gump.
Jennings.
Yeah.
I'll never forget, man, when I went to Washington, D.C., I was so excited, to see all the things in D.C. that you want to see.
Mhm.
And one of those things is that wading pool where,
Oh, yeah.
famously,
Mhm. Jenny runs out.
That's right.
Yeah.
Right. And so I was so excited because I was like, I want to get a selfie. I want to get a pic. The thing was just covered in green goose shit.
Yeah.
Right? It was just nasty as hell. I was like, I don't want to even
Yeah.
put my foot in it.
Yeah.
It was absolutely disgusting. I was like, no way. That's terrible,
I'm
man.
sure the maintenance bill for that is pretty steep.
Man, they must have cleaned it out really good for the movie. That's what I was like, man, that's crazy. Yeah, that's like when I went to Hollywood and the first time I went there and I was like, this is Hollywood?
Yeah.
This is what it is? And that's the
Yeah.
Hollywood sign right
Yeah,
there?
right.
Yep.
It's not really very big.
Yeah.
It's not really in a cool area.
It's
or
not what you
anything.
think it is.
It's not
Right.
at all what
Yeah.
you think it is. Like it's kind of like when you see the White House. As a matter of fact,
Yeah.
you see it in movies, and you always feel like, oh, the White House is all by itself. It's giant.
Oh, it's in the middle
it's
of
big.
right.
Dude,
no,
it looks like this area,
no,
actually.
it looks like Broadway. Yeah,
Right.
I mean, it looks,
it's
it's a bunch
a
of big buildings.
old ass industrial buildings. And then there's the White House, and the White House isn't even that big to look at.
Right.
Now I know it goes way down under there and all that, but it's not all that impressive when you
Right.
see it. It's like, oh, really? Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Must be cool inside, right? You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah, I had a very similar experience in Los Angeles. The first time I went to LA, our plane landed at like 8 o'clock at night. And of course, you want to go to Venice Beach.
Yeah, of course.
LA.
It's the first thing you're gonna do, right?
Oh, Venice Beach at 9 o'clock at night is not the place
No.
to be.
No.
There is nobody rollerblading. There's no
Nope.
sunshine.
No,
and it
there
was-
ain't no boobs out there that you want to see
no,
anyway.
No,
There
And
might be some, but they ain't the ones you want.
Dude, I think I've told you this story before, but I was very conscious of us being tourists there. And
Yeah.
I tried to blend in. I took my shoes off and my shirt off. I'm walking
know.
around barefoot
They
and
know.
with my. They knew. They knew.
know.
They had me pegged from a mile away.
Yeah.
Come up to you, throw your arm around you. Hey, bud, what you need? Walk down here with
Yeah.
me. And
Yeah, they want to sling you something.
yeah,
I
this
promise
is
you.
not the
for sure.
Venice Beach I saw in the movies.
No, there's no Arnold pumping iron out here.
Well,
There's nothing
we
like
went
that.
back the next morning at 10 o'clock in the morning.
And
Great.
It's a whole different place.
Great, yeah,
No,
yeah.
everybody's out at Venice Beach then.
Mhm.
I also learned in Los Angeles that you know, they always make it seem like it's fun to have sex on the beach.
Yeah. Not though.
It's not. No, it's not, because you get sand in places you didn't understand sand could be. And
Sand sucks.
Sand is
Pretty
terrible.
much.
Yeah, it ruins it completely. You know, yeah. Lots of things that you see that are on TV and whatnot, or in movies, and you see it.
Don't measure up.
No, the Grand Canyon, it did.
Yeah.
The Grand Canyon, you stand there and look at it, and you're just like, wow. What always amazes me is that you can walk. I mean, you could just walk right off of it if you want to.
Right.
There's
No guardrails.
There's no barrier to
Right,
stop you.
right.
You can just walk right the hell off of it.
One of the times that I went, I think it was my wife's first time ever seeing it. We got there, and the wildfires had completely filled the canyon, and you couldn't even. It was like it almost looked like a lake or something. But it didn't. You couldn't see any depth at all.
Wow.
It was terrible, and I couldn't. I didn't want to go. Damn, babe, this just ruins it. But she was like, "Well, this sucks."
Yeah.
Yeah. No. Is there anything else that you ever traveled to see that you'd seen on TV or whatever, and when you got there, you're like, "Oh man."
Well, this is little, but have you heard of this this bridge that's in Arkansas? It's the whatever the hell, I can't remember what the hell they call it. It's a natural bridge.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. The natural bridge.
We finally passed that sign enough times. I was like, Mom, let's go see this bridge. And I was like, that's it.
Yeah.
No,
I can do that.
What killed me about that is you pay, and you don't get to go up on the bridge.
Right.
You just get to look at it from afar.
Now, I will tell you what you might not have heard of and is cool to see is the Arkansas Grand Canyon.
Oh yeah,
Which is, going up, towards if you're going up 64,
65.
65,
I think it's 65.
yeah, 65, or Scenic 7, maybe one of those, and it's really cool. And then the what's the name of those caverns?
Blanchard's.
Yeah, Blanchard
I've been to
Springs,
those.
yeah.
Those are dope.
That is
Yeah, that's a cool.
And all of
place
those
to go.
caverns. Just, man, there's the one that goes right on the way into Silver Dollar City.
Mhm.
Crystal, something like that.
Yeah.
Very impressive, man.
Yeah, no, it's amazing when you go up up north of the Buffalo and all that, or North Arkansas where the Buffalo is. Man, there's all kinds of caves and caverns and things you can just go.
A lot of history out
explore.
there.
I mean, you
for
just,
sure.
I mean, you don't. It's not like a place you go pay an admission. You just start walking around.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
there.
if you're floating the Buffalo, there's several caves that you can get into.
Yeah, for sure.
It's been years since I've been down there, but or up there or whatever. But yeah, there's literally tons of stuff you can get
You
into.
like floating?
Man, I do. It's fun. I haven't done it in quite a while. My wife is not privy to camping. She said, like, I had a tent, and she said, take that damn tent, chunk it.
Yeah. Now, we're not. I mean, we could camp, but we're not big campers. But like we've gone
She
many
wants a
times
cabin.
to Washita and floated that one, which is about a 3-hour float.
That's cool.
And that's
I
a lot of
haven't done
fun. Yeah, you put in, you just take a car up at this spot, and and everybody else drops in here, and you kind of shuttle back and forth at the end. But
That's cool.
it's a good place to do it. The Buffalo is also great to float, but
Yeah.
It is nice. Nice
you
and
just
clear.
have to know that on certain days that a lot of rapids are real on the Buffalo.
Yeah.
And if it's too low, you end up carrying your damn canoe.
Oh yeah,
that
you
always
can
It's
do
even
that.
worse.
That always sucks.
Yeah, floating the Saline, you'll end up carrying it a few times. But
Dragging it.
and you'll also get to see a lot of water moccasins.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, there's a little spillway on the Saline. I used to live on Inwood, right on the Saline River, and we used to, put the kayaks in there all the time. But just up from the house was just a little spillway, just a little bitty dam, and you'd see 6-8 cottonmouths over there. And you just watch them fish, because they just sit there and strike down and grab fish out of the water, and it's kind of crazy to watch. Honestly, it's
Like
it's
some
really
Discovery
weird.
Channel.
But yeah, it makes me nervous when I see that many. I'm like, I don't want to be in the water.
No doubt.
I don't love because they will bite your ass in the water.
Hell yeah.
That's a myth if you think they won't.
Yeah.
They'll definitely.
Yeah, I've heard
bite
that
you.
myth a million times.
No, they'll bite your ass under the water just like they'll bite it above water. I will tell you this though: if you're walking up on them, you'll know it because it smells like rotten cucumbers.
Yeah.
Like it's pungent as hell.
I've heard a
man.
lot of people say that.
Yeah,
I've heard
it's absolute-
several different smells.
Yeah, I'll tell you, we had when the same.
What is it? Mothballs. People say.
I guess kind of. It's to me, it's like rancid cucumbers, rancid watermelon, maybe. But we lived in another place not far in Benton on Lakeview, and these young guys, they were probably teenagers, you know, but they stumbled across a cottonmouth that was 5.5 feet long, probably about that big around.
That's huge.
You know, I know. I remember when I was telling Corey, and he was like, "Well, that's not that big." I was like,
Shit.
"For a cottonmouth? Are you kidding me, bro?
All right.
It'll take your life, I promise you." And so they killed it, and I was like, I kind of want to do the, you know, look at the head and see the fangs and all that, you know. So I said,
It'll still bite you the next day.
I said, it damn sure would. So I said, I'm going to take it home. And I took it home and I lopped the head with a machete. And I had gloves and all that. And I was just, you know, and it will bite, you know, but it was cool to see the fangs.
Right.
But then I just said, well, that was cool. And I threw it in the trash can. Bro, it was a week till trash day.
Oh God.
Hey,
Flopping around in there.
For 2 days, 48 hours, every time you'd walk past it, that some bitch would flop. Like it instinctually knows you're there, and it's still flopping. It's still going at it, you know. But the worst was the smell.
Yeah.
Oh my God. You think they smell bad when they're alive. When they're dead, that was the worst smell I've ever smelled in my life. It was like if you combined a swamp, a donkey's ass, and a brothel.
Yeah.
Nice.
And multiplied it times 10. That's
Sounds
what
like
you
a good
get.
time.
Yeah, no, it was bad. It was all bad. I tell you what else is all bad. If you don't have the right lawyer, look, man, don't get an impersonal lawyer who doesn't care. If you got any kind of issue, a family issue, a property issue, a probate issue, elder law is a big thing now. Any of that, RigganLaw.com. Kristen Riggan and her team, they're out of Benton. Look, here's what I love about her. She's just real people. You're going to go in and you're going to sit down and you're going to talk to her just like we're talking right now. That's how it is. It's not one of those things where you feel uptight, you feel like, you know, you're just a number, you feel like they don't care. They're going to sit down, they're going to talk with you, they're going to talk through everything, and then they're going to give you options, and they're good options. Check them out, RigganLaw.com. Trust me, you will not be disappointed.
Yeah, they'll get you taken care of.
Yeah, they sure will. Well, big thanks to Bundy today, Bundy Electric. If you need electrical services, please reach out to Bundy.
Hit me up.
And big thanks to Darrin Riggan. Darrin, if somebody
Riggan Renovations.
Riggan Renovations. That's
838-9006.
838-9006 right there. So Riggan Renovations, Bundy Electric. Hey, a lot of construction around here.
Yeah.
And don't forget, if you need to buy a house or sell a house, I can help you. I will help you. I'd be glad to help you. Just reach out to me, 575-5485. It's 575-5485, or just hit me up on social media, yell my name real loud, something. I'll be around, you know. But mainly, I just want to thank you guys for continuing to make it the best ever. We're so thankful that you're watching, listening, and sharing. Please keep doing that.
Awesome show.
And we'll see you next time, y'all.
See you guys.
Late.